And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second broadcast of the night. We just wrapped up with Sparkling Tunic Cup, and now we are jumping into OSC King of the Hill weekly number 189. That's a lot of weeks. That's a lot of OSC King of the Hills, and we're jumping in to the second match of the night. Now, we missed out on game one because we were, of course, focusing on our own tournament, focusing on the finals of Sparkling Tunic Cup, but I do have an update. Now, it was a ZVP between Demi and Jumi, and I'm a little bit in shock, but Demi, the Zerg player, the Indian Zerg player, he took down Jumi in the late game. It was a 20-minute long game, and Demi came out on top, and as a result, he is the king of the hill. But now we have a new challenger, another European Protoss player spawning in the top left-hand corner. We have the Polish Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is MaNa. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Indian Zerg player, the blue Zerg, the current king of the hill, representing Matcherino Esports. It is Demi. Let's go. Let us go. And Demi is opening up with a proxy hatch. Now, I am not too privy of what happened in that last game and how Demi took down Jumi. Jumi was the king of the hill at the start of the night, but has since been slain. And with the death of one king comes another. All hail the new king of the hill, Demi ByuN, the muta king himself. Did let me know that he did muta the hell out of Jumi. It's what Demi's known for. If you're maybe a little bit newer or maybe not familiar with the Southeast Asian scene, Demi, he has been known for just massing up muta time and time again. Meanwhile, MaNa, he has scouted, he is aware of the proxy hatch, he responds with a forge. So good response so far, responds with a forge. With this, we'll have cannons to defend, cannons, zealots can throw down a robo or just expand and go for the natural. We'll see how confident MaNa is with the defense, as Demi is looking to apply that pressure here in the hatchery. Will soon finish, but again, at least MaNa is aware. Now MaNa will go for the Nexus first. Nexus before the first unit. MaNa skips on the Zealot, does not produce. And MaNa also confirmed that there were no additional probes being sent out across the map, or no additional drones being sent out, as a cannon is on the way. Now Demi does confirm he gets eyes on the forge, on the cannon, on the expansion timing as well. So far, a very light reaction from MaNa. Hasn't committed too hard. Demi is rushing into link speed, does somewhat pull out of gas, but not completely. Still 2 drones in gas, very intentional. And the initial link is going to be able to slip by. Going for the cannon at least, gets a couple of hits off, but yeah, not quite worth it. One link goes down. The other does slip into the main. More links on the way, they shut down the scouting probe. And it does Demi drone from here. He's expanding. He's expanding. We do see that MaNa throws down a shield battery, going for a Stargate follow-up, and you can see that MaNa, he scouts, he's checking for spine crawlers. He checks no spine crawlers whatsoever. MaNa knows that he doesn't have to overcommit. So far, a good reaction here by MaNa. Meanwhile, Demi rushing into the lair, and this should be for muta play. This should be for 2-base Spire. I would imagine. It's what Demi is known for. What he is known for. The Stalker does waddle in, will take down the Queen. Likewise, a Void Ray on the way behind this to gain map control. Additional links have arrived. You can see Demi spreading creep back from across the map, spreading towards his own base. Up Demi, he does get the probe. Nice pick off. Does get the worker. Also, I do apologize for the chat. We will be. I will try to update the. Hold on. I got you. There we go. That was for the tournament that we just casted. So this is the second cast of the day, or back to back. We just wrapped up with Sparkling Tunic Cup. And after this game, I will update the bot with the OSC King of the Hill bracket. Oh boy. Here we go. As Demi does finish up the lair, he's going for some Dropper Lord play, actually. Okay, we do have an Overlord morphing in, or Dropper Lord morphing in. Void Ray will shut this down, but the Void Ray is distracted. The Void Ray is distracted, and Demi slips into the main. MaNa, not aware. Completely caught unawares here. Nothing in the main base. Lings are dropping in. The creep is spreading. The hatchery still up and running. Still buying time. And the Lings, they're going for the mineral line. They're going for the main base. Probes are going to go down. Yeah, it's going to be 3. It's going to be 4 probe kills. Up to 4 probe kills so far. Can he get more? Oh, not quite. Lings instead they back off, going for the pylon. Second Void Rage did arrive. Overlord should be getting the hell out of here. But regardless, nice damage dealt by Demi. Can he get the pylon? Oh, it's gonna be close. Barely does. Does get the pylon. And back at home, happily droning. He's just droning up. No extra gases, so he's not rushing into the Spire yet. As I say that, extra gas is being taken. Going to Hydras instead. Okay, Demi. You have my attention. You have my attention. Demi going into 2-base Hydra. Making me and Micah proud. Este mio. Meanwhile, MaNa, of course, he's stuck on 2 bases. Creep is spreading, delaying any kind of expansion. We will need an Oracle to help deal with all these tumors. Or an Observer. Observer is almost done. And Observer production will begin. Observer's on the way. Meanwhile, Demi happily expanding. He hasn't lost any workers back at home. He's fully saturated on 2 bases. The hallucination should get eyes on the tech. And there we go. MaNa, I'm sure he was looking for the Spire, but he does confirm the Hydra Den is aware of the Ling Hydra. He responds with a Bay. This will be for Colossus production, I would imagine. Colossus will be amazing against both Lings and Hydras. But there is going to be a window. There's going to be a window in time where MaNa does not have splash damage, and Demi will have a massive amount of Ling Hydra. Here we go. Demi is going to be moving out. The Zings are poised to dive into the third. So far, MaNa just clearing up all that creep. Oh my god. Now, we spoke about how Demi is the muta king of the sea. It's true. It's true. He is the king of the mutas. He is the OSC king of the hill currently as well. Is going for the Spire after the Hydra. And very tricky play out of Demi. Going initially for the Hydra push. Will shut down the third. Ooh, third base is denied. Is cancelled. And he's going for a muta transition from here. He only invested into how many Hydras? Into 6. 6 Hydras with Hydra speed, of course. Demi rotating around, making sure there's no expansion. Does rotate. MaNa's trying to keep up. He has force fields. Ooh, and he will lock down one of the Hydras. Yeah, one of the Hydras will fall. The expansion will survive. And Demi has to retreat. He has to back off. Meanwhile, behind this, MaNa, did he re-scout? He did not. Is going for a blind Phoenix, though. So is looking to try at least gain map control. I mean, he already had the Void Rays. Phoenixes will help. It's also very possible that MaNa is aware of the kind of player that Demi is. I mean, Demi, he is known for playing mutas, so it's possible that MaNa might just be playing safe. Does make the 1 Phoenix back at home. The Observer doesn't quite see too much, though. It's going to be 10 mutas in production. Observer gets found. Ooh, but does survive. Yeah, the Overseer not quite in position. And he scouts, he confirms. Oh, massive scout from MaNa. He does get eyes on the Spire. Demi, he almost denied the scout, but the Overseer did overshoot. And with that, second Phoenix is on the way. Temple Archives for Archon production. Storm as well. MaNa, he's fully aware of what's going on. He's getting ready. Is getting ready back at home. And that surprise factor that Demi usually relies upon, it's not quite there. It's not quite there. Not this time. I see he's going to be rotating over towards the main. Does threaten a dive. Pulling back for now. Does pull away. Getting his 4th base. At least has gained map control. Demi, he hasn't dealt any damage yet. But he's at least keeping MaNa contained. And Demi from here, he can be greedy. He's droning up. Going into corrupted production. Likewise, MaNa going into the fleet beacon. Working towards Phoenix range. And so far, MaNa, he is keeping up with the mutas. Mutas, they haven't done anything yet. Not yet, at least. Here we go. So Demi, he backs off. He's building up. Still committing to Mass Muta, of course. Mass Muta Corruptor. Meanwhile, MaNa as well going to a second Stargate. Second Stargate, Mass Phoenix, potentially into Void Ray once he realizes what's going on. That's a lot of mutas. That is a lot of mutas, man. Ay, ay, ay. How many? 21. 21 mutas for Demi. As he is massing up his army. Yo, I miss casting Zerg. We didn't get to cast any Zerg in today's tournament, in Sparkling Tuna Cup. So at least we get to embrace it here. Demi moving out with his Mutaflock. No Archons with the main army, bear that in mind. Yeah, Corruptors, they do zone back some of the Phoenixes. The base goes down, we do force a cancel. Nice pick off, that's going to be 2 meters falling. With that turnaround, Demi does catch a Void Ray, takes the Storm to the face. Has to retreat. Demi does respect the Storms. Does pull back. Building up more Corruptors. Meanwhile, MaNa working towards Archon production and more High Templar. Is going to have a more secure force against the Muta. Demi has to be so careful, has to make sure he's able to magic box here over those Archons. He isn't quite able to catch the Phoenixes though. Not quite. But does collapse in. Oh, gets one! Gets one Phoenix. Meanwhile, MaNa just going for a base trade. He doesn't care. He ignores the main army. He's pushing out across the map instead, getting to the mineral lines. And is this the best move for MaNa? As the base trade is in full swing. Goes towards the third. Likewise, Demi just breaking into the natural. Takes down every single Phoenix. Phoenix is going down. We force a recall. And what recalls back home? The Colossus. The Colossus recall. Meanwhile, there are still Zealots in every single mineral line. One Archon falls. High Templar gets caught out. Massive pickup. So MaNa, he bleeds an Archon, a High Templar. How many High Templar left? There is one. One High Templar does have Storms. One High Templar full of energy. Can Demi catch this army out? Oh, there's the first Storm. There's the second. That's it. That's the final Storm. And Demi, can he overwhelm? Takes out every single Colossus. And there's one Archon left. And it looks like Demi, he has done it. Magic Box is here on top of the Archon. Takes it down. And MaNa has only Zealots remaining. Just Zealots remaining here. And the Mutas, they can just shut this down. MaNa, he lost his 4th base. Demi is down when it comes to his economy. When he may lose another expansion. Oh, that's brutal. The 4th hatchery. Up. Does he get it? He does. The 4th hatchery goes down as well. That's 2 bases. That's 3 bases falling. It's a big blow to the economy of Demi. But Demi still has a massive Muta army and he's got to go. Send it back. Demi, ByuN. As he attempts to move out though, Zelaramai will keep him busy. Oh, that's going to be another cancel. Another cancellation. And again, this is at least keeping MaNa, or allowing MaNa to expand and get a 4th. So there's still that War Prism. But Demi moves out. What is it to defend? There's 4 Archons. That's a lot of Archons. Demi, he commits. Oh my god, massive Archon shots. A massive chunk of Mutas go down. And not sure if that was quite worth it, I'll be honest. Ooh. As the Archons, they bully back the Corruptors as well. And Demi does have to retreat. And MaNa, he holds on to the 4th. We'll lose a mineral line though. And Demi, he can abuse the immobility of those Archons. Diving into the main. Going for the mineral line. And more probes going down. We're even going for the Templar Archives. Nice pickup. I love that the Corruptors are just zoning the Phoenixes away while the Mutas deal all the damage. It's a very nice movement. Demi gets out. He gets 21 probe kills. And Demi's able to double expand and reestablish his bases, reestablish his economy. Demi is still in the driver's seat. I say that, I mean, when it comes to how fragile these Mutas are, we've seen what only a handful of Archons can do. Demi has to be careful. He has to be so careful with these corruptors and with these mutas. Now, meanwhile, MaNa, has he rebuilt his temple archives? He has not. Ooh, so what you see is what you get. No more High Templar, no more Archons. Just 3 High Templar and 2 Archons remaining for MaNa. From here, Demi could even go into Hive Tech and go into Ultras. For now, Lair Tech. He's still stuck on Lair Tech. Does hit the left-hand side, gets 1 Gas Geyser. Doesn't quite get another. Nice goes here from MaNa. The Corruptor count is getting low, so I'm a little bit concerned here for Demi. Oof, takes an Archon shot to the face. Demi is maxing out, again with purely Ling Muta. Ling Muta Corruptor. Army busts in. There are 3 storms here for with the MaNa's army. Drones are going down. Ling's there with the High Templar. There's a first storm. There's a second. And the final storms are being thrown down. Okay, they don't commit. They don't connect. Lings, they come in to reinforce. Archons go down. And Demi, he shuts down the army. He can just keep going. Meanwhile, at the same time, oh my god, 30 drones! No! 30 drone kills. That is insane. The Zealot run by. 30 drones go down. Demi, his economy, not what it should be. But he still has the army. He can still keep going. MaNa, it looks like he rebuilt the Temple Archives. More High Templar warping in. If it wasn't for those drones going down, Demi, he should be maxed. He should be maxed out by now, but alas, still not. Phoenixes, they just bully these mutas. Oh my god. And Demi bleeding out so many mutas here. Not too worth it. He has to engage with the Corruptors. Corruptors forced to fight. Not the best trade for Demi. And Demi's redroning. He has to redrone, resaturate. Even though Demi has a supply lead, because Demi can't fight the army head-on, MaNa can stabilize. Totally. And he's on 4 base economy as well. Like, Demi has to do something about this economy. Again, I would just love to see an Infestation Bit, a Hive, and Ultras. Ultras could help end the game here against Sharshal Archon. But for now, Demi's stuck on Lair Tech. I mean, Demi doesn't have a bank to work with anyway, so I don't blame him for... Like, again, if Demi didn't lose 30 drones, he could afford teching. But right now, he can't. Is going for a lane counterattack. Meanwhile, here comes the Death Bullet army with 3 Archons. The expansion. Meanwhile, the entire middle line is going to be going down. Oh god, and GG gets caught. It's just too much. MaNa, he survives. He fights back. 22 drones go down, and MaNa will take down the King of the Hill. GG, a very intense game. Honestly, Demi, he was in the driver's seat for so much of this. He almost did take it himself. But as we saw, Demi, he was losing too many drones. He wasn't able to get the lead that he so wanted. I do think that Demi still had a chance, but he couldn't fight the main army is the problem. He could not fight the main army, not head-on, not against all those Archons and High Templar. He lost a full mineral line as well. GG. GG, well played. MaNa does take it, and MaNa is our new King of the Hill. GG, well played. MaNa will take the win here. Still very close and very intense. I mean, you can even see the army supplies here as well. Demi is the blue line. Like, Demi, he was up in supply the entire time. But, like, again, the soup does lie. It's one of those things where the soup does often lie, where even though Demi had a larger army, it's a very fragile army. Very fragile army is Mutaling. So it doesn't take much to shut it down. And we are getting ready for our next series, for our next best of 1. I see Demi in the chat. No. See Demi in the chat. You played well, Papi. You played well. And here we go. We're getting into our next game, into our 3rd match of the night. And we have our map of choice. We're going to be loading into Side Delta. It's going to be another PvZ. MaNa, he's going to be going up against Wayne in the 3rd round. Let's go. Wayne is looking to rise to the challenge. And we'll see if he can... If he can succeed, if he can overwhelm. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Side Delta, we have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Starlight Twinkle SLT. It is Wayne, the challenger, the would-be usurper. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Polish Protoss player, the current King of the Hill, with a 1 win streak, with 1 game under his belt. Can he keep that win streak going? It is, for Team Liquid, MaNa. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is time to get your gamma going. Predictions are now open. Place your bets. I apologize for not opening up predictions in the last game. I do apologize for missing out on that, but predictions are now open, so best of luck. As a reminder, this is a best of 1. Best of 1, not a best of 3. Here we go. No, it's okay. Demi, you played well, man. You played well. You already beat 4 Jumi. That's good enough. Beat 4 Jumi. Almost took down MaNa as well. It's okay, it's okay. Wayne, he'll take up the mantle for you, Papi. He'll play Muta. Copium. Best of 1, 1 means already done. So this is a I should say King of the Hill style format. So MaNa, he has 1 win under his belt, and he will stay on. He will stay on, and he will ideally rack up those wins. And the more wins MaNa gets, the more money he makes. That is the format of the tournament. So he's on a 1-game win streak so far. So that is just to indicate the amount of wins that MaNa has. 1 game. 1 game. But it's a best of 1. Best of 1. But here we go. You have Wayne going to be joining up, saturating his bases. So far so good. Just hatch gas full, forcing the unnatural natural. Meanwhile, MaNa just going for the gate expand into Cybercore. Everything looking as it should. Everything looking as it should. But now we do have our tech of choice. MaNa going to be opening up Stargate. So far, everything's looking normal. It's going to be a Stargate opener. MaNa did throw down the Stargate further back behind the mineral line. That could be indicative of potentially a Void Ray opener and maybe taking in a different direction. I'm curious if MaNa has something in store for us here with this initial Stargate, or if it's just going to be an Oracle first. And we have confirmation it is going to be the Oracle. Now, usually we do throw down, or Protoss players throw down the Stargate a little bit closer to the edge of the main to be able to get across the map that much faster, but it looks like MaNa is more concerned with hiding the tech and trying to keep Wayne in the dark. So it is just going to be the initial Oracle into a 3rd base, into a standard setup. Meanwhile, Wayne happily just droning up, saturating, taking now his 3rd at the natural. And we'll progress from here. Thank you for the replay redemption, Demi. Ay. Send me the replay on Discord, and we'll have a replay cast in the coming days. We'll have a replay cast. Demi. Meanwhile, MaNa looks like is setting up for some 2-base play. What I'm referring to did make 1 Oracle. That is true. There's 1 Oracle, but there is no 2nd Oracle. Instead, MaNa, he throws down a Robo and a Twilight Council before the 3rd. Before the 3rd base, so very aggressive, very committed here by MaNa. Throws down extra gateways as well. It looks like a 2-base all-in. Looks like a 2-base all-in out of MaNa, as all these resources could have been spent on an expansion instead. So no expansion, just mass gateway. Oh, into what looks to be Archons. Okay. You have my attention. Is going for initially an Archon drop into, I imagine, Zealot reinforcements. MaNa moving out to expand and take a 3rd, but this is going to be a delayed 3rd base for MaNa. Meanwhile, Wayne back at home, happily droning up. The Oracle hasn't done much. Did try to get into the natural, sorry, into the main. The Queens are ready. And the Queens did deflect. Ooh. Gets one more drone. One drone goes down. Oracle takes some extra hits. Wayne does skip the Roach Warren, so he's going for Ling Bane initially. Ling Bane into Hydra, which means Wayne is going to be vulnerable to the Charge Load Archon composition of MaNa. And he's getting there. Now, I assumed initially that MaNa was going to go for something more aggressive, but as we can see here, MaNa is teching. MaNa is going for the Forge. He went for a late third base into a late Forge as well. Really, this is something that Creator used to do. It is a delayed Archon drop. That's kind of the build here of MaNa. He's going for a delayed Archon drop, hunting down Overlords. I say delayed. If this was, for example, a Dark Shrine opener, it would hit sooner and get into Archon Harass as well. This is going to be a little bit later for MaNa. And Creator used to do this like a year ago, 2 years ago. We used to see this build a little bit more prevalent. As Lings, they do hit the natural. Stalker goes down. Wayne at the same time going for the third. Yeah, the shield battery is exposed. And remember, the Oracle's across the map. The Oracle isn't really able to support too much. The depths are going down. Archons, they do bust into the main though. And where are the Queens? The drones are forced back. Things are getting chaotic here. The Oracle is recalled back home. But these things, they've done enough. They deny the warp in. They're going for the expansion. And can they knock down the third? It's going to be close, but it looks like the Oracle will defend. Meanwhile, across the map, the Archon harass, it continues. Oh my god, massive Archon volleys. 5 drones go down. They come back too soon. No! Oh my god. They came back too soon. 5 drones fall. And Wayne, you can see he's not stopping. He's not stopping. He wants that third. Remember, no shield battery, no army in position. The Zealous gets surrounded. And this third base, it's going to fall. The Oracle is out of energy. And without the Archons, there's no saving this third base. This is the downside of going for a late third and going for only one Oracle. If you had a triple Oracle opener, you'd have a second, a third Oracle to defend, but there are no Oracles. Only the one. Third base goes down. MaNa does get the fourth, but that was still a better trade for Wayne. The Archon drop has been getting a lot of value, though. Getting more economic damage. 9 drone kills. But the Prism is getting caught out. Takes a lot of hits. Wayne shouldn't get it, though. MaNa does get out. Does get out, does pull away. And now we can take a moment. We can take a moment to take a breath and take stock of what's going on. Now, MaNa, he has built up an army to work with here. It's kind of an odd army. It's very uncomfortable. There's Archons, there's Immortals, but these are slow lots. Charge is almost done. It's just over the halfway mark. So Charge and +1 are going to finish up. And we'll see what MaNa can get done. Now, thankfully, Wayne did throw down a later Roach Warren, so he's going to have Roach Ravager to defend. Or Ling Roach, at least. But he's not ready yet. And MaNa is going in for the kill. Again, MaNa, he's on 2 bases. No third, no saturation. He's committed. And it's all or nothing for MaNa. And he is breaking through. There's not enough Roaches. Yeah, Wayne is getting caught with his pants down. He was droning up. And not quite ready here for this push. The boys have to be pulled away. The Archons. Oh, they catch the reinforcements. They catch the transferring workers. 18 drones go down. And it looks like MaNa, he has too much. He has too much. He overwhelms. In the end, it did turn out to be a 2-base all-in. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily the initial goal for MaNa, but did transition to 2-base all-in. GG gets called, and MaNa will take down Wayne. Will extend his lead. Will maintain that King of the Hill status. GG. GG, well played. MaNa takes down Wayne. GG. That's going to be 2 wins now here for MaNa. He's taking down Demi, taking down Wayne. Zerg players are falling left and right here under the hands of MaNa. And what is the plan? Who rises to the challenge next? Do we have another Zerg player? Do we have a Terran or a Protoss instead? It is up to Eddie. Shout out to Eddie. Of course, Eddie is the owner of OSC and also the organizer and admin of this tournament. And we are really at the behest of Eddie here. Eddie, he's the puppet master. He does pick and choose which players rise up, who plays against who. So who's up next? Who's it going to be? Here we go. Here we go. As I do notice a couple of players online. I see BabyMarine, I see GgMaChine. I believe Nicoract is also lurking around as well. Shameless is there. So who is it? Who steps up? Oh my god! Let's go! We have the debut, actually. We have the debut of someone here in OSC King of the Hill. It is going to be Hatsu. So Hatsu versus MaNa. That means it's going to be another ZVP. Another ZVP. Do need a moment to set things up. Oh my god. And I do need a moment here to get the series ready. Beautiful. All right, here we go. The PVZs continue. Again, Demi has fallen, Wayne has fallen, but now Hatsu rises to the challenge here, and I'm ready for some cheesy play. I'm ready, Fatty. Let's go. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Gosher, we have the current King of the Hill with 2 wins under his belt. We have the Polish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Team Liquid. It is MaNa. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the pink Zerg player for the Platinum Heroes. It is Hatsu. Here we go. Debuting for the first time in OSC King of the Hill, from my understanding. And we'll see how she compares to MaNa. Now, at least from my history casting Hatsu's matches, is typically more of an aggressive player, and yep, there we go, is going to be, well, I say aggressive, is going to be a pool first, but nothing crazy yet. It's not like a 12 pool or anything like that. We're not going gas first either. It is going for a pool first opener, and I'm curious where Hatsu takes us from here. Interesting. Okay, going to be going pool gas before hatchery. MaNa checks for the expansion at the triangular third. Alas, will not quite be in position to deny the expansion. And we'll see what the plan is going to be here. Now again, because the hatchery is delayed, because the gases are a little bit earlier, this can lead into something like a Bane bust, this can lead into a Roach all-in, this could lead into Fast Lair, into like a Nida Space all-in. I'm curious specifically what this gas is going to be spent on, as 6 lings are on the way. 6 lings are on the way. MaNa back at home, delaying the expansion. MaNa going for a gate Cybercore first before the Nexus, and MaNa might even just go for a second gateway as well. So very safe play out of MaNa. Lings are scouted, MaNa is aware, and is chronoing out that Zealot. So MaNa doesn't fully wall off, he goes for the Cybercore, then into Nexus, but still really safe play out of MaNa. Zealot will pop out as well. And I was curious what the gas is going to be spent on. We have the answer. It is going to be a Ling Roach all-in. Ling speed is still being researched, so there are going to be Lings to reinforce, which means I would imagine it's only going to be a handful of Roaches for specifically Ravagers. I'm thinking like a 4 Ravager Ling Flood, that sort of thing. Especially because it's only one gas. Only one gas, guys. So it's going to be a straight up all-in here from Hatsu, and we'll see if she can catch MaNa out. MaNa does throw down a safety shield battery at the natural base. He doesn't know exactly what's going on, but again, MaNa, he has seen enough to know that just something weird is happening. Like, there's something odd about the build, and aggression should be on the horizon. How many roaches? It's going to be 5 roaches here from Hatsu. And from here, I would imagine at max, 5 roaches, then purely Ling, and then you morph in the roaches into Ravagers. I would imagine. Meanwhile, Adept does shade out. Is looking for some scouting information. Void Ray is on the way. Void Ray is going to be a secure way to shut this down, and the Adept does scouts, does confirm the roaches. And MaNa is aware. He is aware of what's going on. Lings are flooding across the map. And we do see MaNa fully walls off, throws down the gateway, second shield battery on the way. There's going to be an overcharge as well. And it's going to be all about the execution of the defense. MaNa does take down a Roach already. Yeah, one roach falls. The wall is still solid. There's still the shield battery. There's still the overcharge. Yeah, MaNa just played it out very safely here. Will shut down the roaches. The lings, they do not bust in. GG gets called. And MaNa will take another game. GG. GG, well played. I appreciate the attempted all-in here from Hatsu. Definitely, unfortunately, MaNa was able to, for the most part, scout and recognize what was happening. Was able to, again, respect the initial opener, delaying the expansion, going for the Zealot. The Adept did confirm the Roaches. It was also unfortunate that MaNa did open up Void Ray as well. So just MaNa playing very, very safely there. Was aware that just something was wrong, something was amiss. There wasn't all-in, and MaNa did defend. GG, well played. GG, well played. With that, MaNa does take down another win here, and we'll see how long MaNa can keep this going here. That's what, 3 wins already. MaNa taking down 3 separate Zerg players. Demi, have mercy. Stop setting Zerg players. Sorry, I kept saying Demi. Eddie, have mercy. Stop setting Zerg players here to MaNa. Oh no. They can't do it, papi. Give him a Protoss. Give him a Terran. Give him someone else. Eddie, por favor. And we'll see. We shall see. Send him Uwu Thermal. Oh no. Send him the Weaves. They'll take him out. It's possible. Possible. We'll see what Eddie does aside here for his opponents. I mean, I said before, there were already some players lined up in a way. We have, you know, Shameless, GgMaChine. I saw BabyMarine lurking around. I'm sure we have some of the Polish Protoss players that are willing to jump in as well. The other Polish Protoss players, I should say. Not just MaNa. Nope. We will find out. I saw someone asking how many games does he need. So the format of OSC King of the Hill, just to quickly go over it, I know that I kind of like jumped into the cast. 15 best of ones. 15 best of ones, and the winner stays on. And we have been able to kind of trade that hat a little bit here. The first series was 4Jumi versus Demi. Demi took down 4Jumi. Demi, as a result, was our King of the Hill. Then MaNa knocked Demi out, and MaNa has been on a win streak. He's been on a win streak, and he will stay on until someone can knock him down. And the more games he wins, the more maps he takes, the more money he makes as well. Oh boy. As the way this tournament works is you do gain prize money for every win you get. Every win. Also, if a player goes on a big win streak, if they win like, you know, 7, 8, 9 games in a row, they gain a bounty. And then when and if they get knocked out, a bonus is granted to the player that knocked him out because of, you know, just how large of a win streak they had. So it's a very fun format. It's not really done too often anymore. You know, famously, we had the StarCraft King of the Hill. True. Like, that was also a very fun tournament back in the day. But outside of that, OSC King of the Hill style formats aren't really seen too often anymore outside of this tournament. Aren't seen too often. But it looks like we have our opponents. We have our next opponent here. Here we go. We're getting ready for our 5th best of 1 of the evening. It is going to be, in fact, a PvP. Makes sense, makes sense. Clearly, you know, Zerg players are struggling here against MaNa. We need something different. We need something a little bit special here. It's going to be MaNa versus Shameless coming up next. Of course, Shameless, for those who are unaware, he I would say is definitely rising talent over the course of 2024. Shameless has been getting better and better results. If you are familiar with the online tournament scene, you should be familiar with Shameless. He is so prominent and so active in all these online tournaments. And Shameless, he has been getting better and better results over the course of this year. I think Shameless only hit GM at the end of last year, so he's very young. He's 18 years old. He recently turned 18. He was 17 for most of this year, of course. And yeah, Shameless has been looking so damn good. Basically, it's kind of like the veteran is up against kind of like the next generation of Protoss. MaNa has been around since the inception of StarCraft. He's been here since, you know, the beginning of time, essentially. MaNa, he's a veteran of RTS. Shameless, again, more of the next generation, more of a younger player. He's a zoomer, fam. He's a zoomer. Oh no. And here we go. We are getting into our next best of one. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss player. We have the would-be usurper for Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is MaNa. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will win this best of one. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat. As we are loading into Site Delta now, for those that are curious about PvP on Site Delta, does lead into more economic builds. Gate expands are very common on Site Delta because this is one of the few maps in the map pool that has a ramp coming into the natural, so these economic builds, or these quote-unquote max packs openers, are common on maps like this, on maps like Site Delta, Amphion, and Post Youth. So from those three maps, that's kind of where it is legal to go for gate expands. Because of this, both players are going to be moving out with their probes, and the goal here is to block and deny the expansion. Pylon block, ideally force out a Zealot, force out a second gas geyser. Speaking of, second gas is on the way for Shameless, second gas already on the way for MaNa, and because of how disruptive this scouting probe is, it should force out a Stargate. So both players should be forced out into their Cybercores, into their Stargates, forced to tech. And if that does occur, because both players open Stargate, that is how Phoenix Wars are born, in a way. That's why Phoenix Wars are very common on maps like Site Delta, if both players open Stargate. For the time being, probes are scouting, checking each other, looking to delay that expansion, and pylon block. Zealot is on the way for Shameless. MaNa skips the Zealot though. Yeah, he does cancel the Zealot. MaNa does get the faster expansion, and MaNa will have an economic lead. Meanwhile, Shameless, we spoke about the Stargate. There it is. It is going to be Stargate before Nexus. MaNa does not go for the Stargate. Shameless was out of position, was unable to block, unable to deny, and now the pressure is on Shameless. The pressure is on the blue Protoss player. So we are not entering Phoenix Wars. Shameless, he will see how much damage he can get done. Bearing in mind, MaNa is fully aware of the Stargate, so he knows he has to get ready for the Oracle harass. So a couple of Stalkers, maybe a shield battery in the main, and MaNa should be okay. Meanwhile, Shameless, who was forced to make that Zealot, and now he has to make use of it, is moving out with the Zealot Adept. But MaNa is ready. We have a Stalker, we have a Sentry, we have a Force Field as well. Shameless pokes in. MaNa getting ready for a counterattack with his own proxy pylon. MaNa, calm down. Adept does shade into the main and does get eyes on the tech. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener out of MaNa, working towards, I would imagine, Blink. I would imagine Blink based on that proxy, though. He could even try to be crazy and go for a Dark Shrine. Well, meanwhile, the pylon taking a lot of damage. Takes a lot of hits. It could go down. It's close. Up! The force field! Oh my god, the force field saves the pylon just barely. Oh, he's crazy, but the Oracle's on the way. And the Oracle could try to focus it down. It can, and it will. You rarely see a pylon falling to an Oracle. The Oracle gets a Sentry as well. Very nice pickups. Delays Warp Gates, delays the Sentry. And that will delay any kind of reinforcements, any warp-ins. The aggression of MaNa. Blink is on the way. MaNa setting up a proxy gateway to counterattack with his Blink Stalkers eventually. But MaNa's delayed. One of the gateways not even powered. Has to make another pylon. Double Oracle diving in. Two Oracles, they can one-shot probes. They can and they will. They get one. Just the one so far. Oh no! Shameless does leave the army idle. Takes some extra damage. Takes some extra hits. So a bit of miscontrol there out of Shameless. Twitch shows me Krystianer versus Lunacy. Try refreshing if it doesn't show properly. Hold on. Because I'm pretty sure the predictions have been updating. As MaNa is going to be reinforcing. Oracles, they hit the main once again. The shield battery does nothing. As again, 2 Oracles, they one-shot probes. And MaNa, he's committed. MaNa, he's heavily behind when it comes to the economy. He's down to 27 probes, but he's going for the all-in. It's all or nothing with MaNa, and Shameless, he's not ready. Yeah, he's caught with his pants down. The pants are down. The boys are being pulled. He gets on top of the sentries. Stalkers are busting in. If Shameless can buy a little bit more time, he can hold on. The Oracles, they race back home as well, but there's no energy. It looks like MaNa might just have too much. He's overwhelming the army here. 18 probe kills. Fun fact, the broker count is now even. I mean, that just shows how far ahead Shameless was. Shield battery finishes. Oh my god. Does finish up. Ooh, overcharge is 1 second too late. Yeah, the overcharge was delayed. Shameless is holding. But he still only has 2 Stalkers. No, he's turned away. The body blocking. The body blocking is brutal. Out of range of the overcharge. And it looks like MaNa, he's doing it. He's doing it once again. Oh my god, it's still close though. There's another warp in. Couple of boys being pulled. The shield battery doing what it can. But it's a numbers game at the end of the day, and MaNa has double the army supply. Was forced into an all-in, but he embraced the all-in. Again, Shameless, he made a third. He invested into a third base. It's just not going to come to play. Shameless just a little bit too greedy. He was expecting an honorable macro game. But no, MaNa, he gets down and dirty. GG gets called. And MaNa will take down Shameless and will remain the king of the hill. GG. GG, well played. MaNa takes down another player in the PvP. I mean, it was still a very chaotic game, and I mean, Shameless was getting further ahead if it was to lead into a macro game, that is true, but MaNa, he just embraced the all-in. He was losing probes, he was setting up his proxy across the map, the proxy was not scouted, and again, Shameless, who was caught with his pants down, he did not realize that an all-in was coming his way. He was busy teching up, investing into a third expansion, again, investing into things that weren't going to help him here in that all-in defense. With that, GG. GG, MaNa will take it. Oh, no, yeah, you're not wrong, actually. Hold on. My apologies. Yeah, my apologies when it comes to the predictions. They weren't correctly updating. There we go. Do apologize. So I have fixed that. Basically, I never closed the finals of STC, so predictions weren't properly posting, but they should now. They should now. So we should be getting some predictions for the next series. I do apologize. Do apologize. And MaNa, he's now on a 4-game win streak. And it looks like, oh my god, the big guns are coming out. It's going to be another PvP, but we are heading over to the Americas server. Because we have a Korean. We have a Korean rising to the challenge here. It's going to be one of the big names in this tournament, so they can make a deep run. We'll see if that does occur, or if MaNa can keep the dream alive. Up next is going to be a PvP between MaNa and Nightmare. Oh boy. Nightmare, who is known for his PvP as well, has some of the best PvP in South Korea. So this is not going to be an easy one, but as a reminder, it's a best of one. It's a best of one, so anything can happen. And clearly, again, MaNa is more than willing to embrace something like an all-in, like a cheese, to try to catch his opponent off guard. He is willing to embrace that. Here we go. Definitely will. Exactly. Oh. So, looks like our players are just maneuvering over to the Americas region. Just getting our PvP set up. Again, if this was a best of 3 or a best of 5, I would favor Nightmare. 100%, I would favor Nightmare. But in the best of 1, I can't be as confident in that kind of assertion. You know, I can't with confidence say like, oh no, yeah, Nightmare's gonna win this. Anything can happen. It's crazy. I mean, Demi beat Nightmare last week. Demi, he muted the hell out of Nightmare in last week's tournament. In a similar fashion that we saw with Demi versus MaNa, you know, with Mass Muta, where Demi also was in a solid position. we go. But we might have a short break here. Oh no! That's a bit of a shame. Okay, okay. So I would. So this is not the story that we wanted. It's not really the narrative that we were hoping for. But it looks like something has occurred, and suddenly, very suddenly, the king is dead, and there is no king. MaNa, he is unavailable. MaNa is unavailable. Something has come up, and MaNa cannot continue his reign of dominance here. I mean, it was a very strong performance. MaNa getting 4 wins in a row, very impressive, and MaNa, it looks like he will not be able to continue that run and continue his performance and continue that streak. Instead, he will be bowing out and he will be replaced. So it's not going to be a PvP between Nightmare and MaNa. It's going to be a PvZ between Nightmare and GgMaChine. Oh boy. So it is a bit of a shame, but I mean, regardless, I hope everything's okay with MaNa. Something has otherwise come up and will not be able to compete. But it's all good. More than happy to replace them. And just like that, now the win streak has gone down to 0. There is no win streak. Not anymore. So true. He's afraid of Nightmare. True, true. How do you bow out of the tournament without taking a loss? Ah, Kappa. Technically undefeated. True. Undefeated is MaNa. But yeah, with that, we are getting ready here for our next matchup. It is going to be that Protoss versus Zerg. Impressive opening strategy from Nightmare. Oh no. Not like this. But what I will say when it comes to MaNa, if he is available like in 2 hours, time, we're probably still going to be casting, right? We're still going to be live here covering the event, most likely. In 2 hours time, if MaNa is suddenly available again, he could jump back in. He could be fielded once again if we don't have any other fresh players, I should emphasize. Usually Eddie does prioritize, fresh players that haven't competed yet. He's got a massive list of players lined up for this. But if he ever runs out, then we could see MaNa make a return towards the end of the tournament. It's possible. It's possible. We'll see. Regardless, until then, it looks like our players are conducting their vetoes. There is somewhat of a veto process. Yeah. Because there's no King of the Hill, both players are going to be vetoing until there's 1 map left. And we'll see what map we end up on. Another important thing to bear in mind when it comes to this tournament, if you haven't watched OSC King of the Hill before, is that OSC King of the Hill features an extended map pool. There's an extended map pool. We have some of the standard ladder maps, but we also have some older maps that were voted on by the players to be added to the map pool. So for this season, currently, we have some older maps such as 2000 Atmospheres. That was around, back in 2020? It's been a long time. 2000 Atmospheres, Cosmic Sapphire, and Eternal Empire. These are relatively modern maps. They're all within the past, 4 years, the COVID era of StarCraft. 2020, 2021 kind of era of StarCraft. So we do have some of these older maps in the map pool as well, which we could see. Haven't seen them yet, but we'll see if any of them do make it through the vetoes. So as they are figuring out their starting map. Yo, do we end up on 2000 Atmospheres? No shot. Potentially. Let's see. They vetoed Amphion, Eternal Empire, Dynasty, Cosmic, Ghost River, Crimson, Sight Out. No, we almost got there. The final veto was 2000 Atmospheres. Not like this. And that leaves us with Oceanborn, right? Yeah. Casito. Is gonna be on Oceanborn. Wait, they vetoed Ocean... Wait, what? Oh, never mind. Okay, it was... They vetoed 2,000 atmospheres, they vetoed Oceanborn, Golden Aura is the last game. Okay. Golden Aura was the final map. Ah. We'll return to 2,000 atmospheres eventually. We'll get there, we'll get there. Hope this looks somewhat competitive. I mean, just like before, just to reiterate, Nightmare is going to be a heavy favorite. Like, there's some big names that show up in these tournaments, like Nightmare, ByuN, Solar, MaxPack, Spirit. Whenever these big names show up, it's like, oh, like, can anyone stop them? And the pressure is on. The pressure is on GgMaChine to cause an upset. He has it in him, I believe. I believe he can. But the pressure is on. Let's go. GgMaChine, also a very young player. I think he's like 15 or something. Very young GM player. Has been improving over time. Fun fact, GgMaChine, many years ago, he used to play in our amateur tournaments. He used to play in MSO. Master Swan Open, like back in like 2018. Before he was GM, back when he was Masters. Crazy. It's been a long time, but here we go. We're getting into our next game and into our next best of one, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Nightmare. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the green Zerg player representing 3D Clan. It is GgMaChine. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. They're properly open this time, so you can place your bets on who you think will claim this best of one. Now, as a reminder, there is currently no King of the Hill. There's no king currently. The throne is vacant. It is open to any of these two players to claim their first win. Someone is asking in the chat what happened to MaNa. I don't know the specifics, but MaNa was unavailable. Something came up, and MaNa had to, unfortunately, had to bow out of the tournament. So we have two fresh players stepping up instead. Here we go. As we do have GgMaChine going hatch gas pool, standard opener out of our green Zerg player. Everything looking as it should so far. Is going to be that standard opener. Meanwhile, Nightmare back at home going gate expand. So far, so good. Nothing too crazy, nothing too aggressive yet. GgMaChine, he can be known for being very aggressive, whether it comes to going for like roach-based all-ins, certain timing attacks on 2-3 bases off of like 60 workers. But on a map like Golden Aura, that's not really seen too often. The map is very large. On top of that, a very narrow choke point coming into the third base. Likewise, very easy to defend in between the third and the natural as well. So these kind of all-ins and these committed builds aren't really seen too often on this map. We often see instead more macro play. As we have Nightmare being as annoying as possible. Let's take some of those minerals, gets the hell out of there. Does slip away. From here, Nightmare going for his tech of choice. It is going to be the Stargate opener. And unlike the previous PvZ with MaNa, I would imagine Nightmare is going to be going Stargate into Oracle, into a third base, into triple Oracle. Again, something more macro-oriented. We have seen Nightmare pop off in the mid-game with Oracle into Glaive Adepts, for example. He is willing to embrace that. But as I mentioned before, like, this map is quite large, and it can be quite difficult to really get aggression or make aggression work on Golden Aura. At least more so than on other maps. As the initial depth does move out, we can see GgMaChine, he is making a surge of Lings. We have some Lings amassing here between the bases to defend, to keep up, and to shut down the initial Adept. So far, the Adept doesn't commit. Nightmare playing carefully, being safe. Does perk in. Gets a Ling. Gets a tumor as well. Very nice pick off towards the end there. Does snipe the tumor. Shades the hell out. Races back home. Meanwhile, the first Oracle has arrived. Has hit the field. And we have the second Oracle on the way. GgMaChine comes in for the strand. It looks like he's going for the Stalker, and he does not get it. Nice control by Nightmare. He does pull away, activates a Pulsar Beam, defends that Stalker, hunting down the Overlord, and can now expand and take the third. Those Lings, if they didn't go down then and there, they could have threatened the third expansion, but they were cleaned up, and now Nightmare can freely take his third. He can freely expand, it takes down the Overlord, Adepts are moving out, and so far Nightmare's looking quite comfortable. They'll shade into natural. Ooh, 2 Adepts taking 1-shot drones, 1 drone goes down. So far. Nope. Coming back too soon. Gets 2, gets 3. Almost 4 drone kills. Shading into the main, getting even more economic damage. And remember, there are no Lings. And this is getting out of hand. This is becoming far too much. 9 drone kills at the same time. Oracles, they hit the third base, and GgMaChine is being pulled apart. 12 workers going down. And behind this, Nightmare, he actually went for a Twilight Council before, as the third base was being thrown down. And this can be for either Fast Blink or Fast Glaives. It should be for Blink. There we go. Blink is on the way. So, very fast Blink Stalkers out of Nightmare. He's looking to keep the pressure up. Now again, usually you delay the Twilight Council a little bit longer. Once the base is halfway done, then you can get a Twilight Council and a Forge at the same time. The upgrades are going to be a little bit more mistimed. They're not going to be alongside each other. Instead, just really fast Blink here. And the Adepts, they just keep shading in. Oh no, oh god. They shaded once again. 3 more drone kills. Not like this. GgMaChine being punished so hard. Again, he did not replenish his Lings after he lost them. That's why there is nothing to keep up, nothing to stop those Adepts. He's just been too greedy. He was cutting corners after losing those Lings. And yeah, here comes the reinforcing pylon. Again, because of the fast Blink, this could even be a 3-base, 8-gate all-in. This pylon is thrown down to reinforce with a proxy gateway. It is going to be 5, 6, it's going to be 7 gates so far. Oh, the gateway is going to be delayed. But you can see Nightmare, he does replace that probe, and it is going to be an 8-gate, 3-base all-in here from the Red Protoss. It makes sense because he has momentum. Because he has such a lead, he's looking to capitalize on that lead by just going for the kill. Gateway is depowered. Nice pickup here by GgMaChine. He will delay the warp-ins. Once again, coming from behind. Desperately trying to delay this all-in as long as possible. Delay the push. More Lings are amassing. Hydras are on the way. Oh god, but again, he's warping in 7 Stalkers at a time. That's a lot of Stalkers. I mean, soon to be 8 Stalkers at a time with that gateway. Lings, they collapse in. They're coming in from behind as well. Going for the surround. But that's what the Oracles are for. They support the Stalkers. They shut down the Lings. Hydras are falling as well. Expensive losses here for GgMaChine. Some brutal losses as Hydras. They're getting picked up here by the Stalkers. Gateway does finish. Reinforcements on the way. And Nightmare, he's overwhelming. Takes down the Queens. The Hydras as well. A lot of the Stalkers got low, but the Blink control was too good. Nightmare barely losing any Stalkers. And he goes for the kill. He sees how vulnerable GgMaChine is. Takes out every single Hydra. There's 3 Hydras left. Oh, the punish! Stalkers are still low. Stalkers are so low. But Nightmare, he knows how close he is to breaking the back of GgMaChine. Is so close. Takes down the Lings. Once again, the Hydras are exposed. Goes for the kill, goes for the tithe. And GG gets called. There's just too much to handle, and Nightmare will take the game and will be our new King of the Hill. GG. Again, it makes sense. We lost a previous Protoss King and we replaced it with another. As previously it was MaNa, now it is Nightmare. GG. GG, well played. Nightmare will take it. It was a good effort by GgMaChine, but again, winding it back a little bit, something that snowballed out of control was GgMaChine losing his first Lings when he tried to kill the Stalker. He was punished for that. The Lings got cleaned up, and GgMaChine, he never replaced those Lings. That is why those Adepts did so much damage. They just pulled GgMaChine apart. I think in conjunction with the Oracles, he got how many? Like 11, 12 drone kills, and that led into the eventual 3-base all-in with Fast Blink with all those Blink Stalkers. Nightmare, he recognized how vulnerable GgMaChine was, how much damage he took, so he just went for the kill. He went for the kill, he went for the throat, then and there, GG. And with that, we've been featuring a lot of Protoss players and a lot of Zerg players in this tournament so far, but now it is time to embrace some Terran. It's been far too long, but a Terran player has risen to the challenge here in the 7th best of 1. It is going to be a PvT between Nightmare and Nicoract. Let's go. Nicoract, of course, has been busy tonight. He was competing earlier today in the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Did make it to the semi-finals against Krystianer. Didn't end up falling to him, but, you know, that was one Protoss. Now we have a very different Protoss player instead. I want to believe that Nicoract has it in him to contest against Nightmare. He's done it before. We'll see if he can do it again. As we are jumping into our best of 1. Now, something that I should also emphasize as well is that it is Challenger pick. That is the format of OSC. In the last best of 1, there was a veto process because we didn't have a king. But now that we do have one, it means that the Challenger, they have the advantage of picking the map. So Nicoract, he is going into and forcing us onto Crimson Court. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Crimson Court, we have the red Terran player for the Platinum Heroes. We have our new challenger, our new would-be usurper. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the current king of the hill. We have the blue Protoss player from South Korea representing Streamer Zone. It is Nightmare. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets for this best of 1. Best of luck in the chat. And again, I want to believe that that Nicoract, he has a build prepared and ready to snipe Nightmare. That is what I love about this format, about these best of 1s, is that players, they're more often than not watching, they're watching the event, they're watching the players, and they have things in mind to bring them down, especially because they have the map advantage. They pick the map ahead of time. They have it, I'm sure, thought up already, and Nicoract, he's going for the eBay block. Does sneak out across the map with the SCV, and the eBay is going to be thrown down here at the natural to delay the expansion and to deny the natural. So we have the first piece of the puzzle when it comes to the build of Nicoract. Nightmare is going to be late to scout the natural base, so this eBay is going to get plenty of progression, and the more HP this has, the bigger of a delay, and most likely Nightmare is going to be forced to expand at the unnatural location. Ooh, I say that. Nightmare, he refuses. He throws down the pylon. Again, oh my god, basically what, like 95% progression, but Nightmare is going to have to focus down the eBay. The Zealot is on the way, and Nightmare, he will go for a delayed expansion instead. It is a tough call to make, but the other option would have been to expand elsewhere, and then you're vulnerable to an all-in. You're vulnerable to the aggression of the Terran. So Nightmare, he decides to just go for a late expansion. Meanwhile, Nicoract going for racks into factory, into a delayed CC. Again, you can't afford the command center because of the eBay, so that's why I usually go factory instead. And Nicoract should be looking to cancel the eBay before it goes down. Oh, Nightmare. Hello. As Nightmare is looking to try to meet this aggressive build with his own. Pylon gets placed. Nightmare is still expanding, don't get me wrong, but he's setting up for a proxy gateway across the map. Okay, Nightmare, you have my attention. Do you have my attention? Meanwhile, Nicoract, he's going to be opening up Reaper Hellion, so it'll be Reactor to Hellion production here. The goal with this unit composition is to get into a mineral line and to roast up some probes. As he is making an extra wave of Hellions as well. It's 3 Hellions to one-shot a probe. But before he can really move out across the map, the proxy gateway has been placed. And Nightmare is looking to contain the Terran. The Hellions are spotted. Stalker will zone away. Nicoract, he will take down the Zealot at least. And he does have the higher Hellion cannon. He shakes down the Stalker. One of the Hellions takes a lot of hits. Does push forward. And we're trading 1 for 1. 2 for 1. 2 Hellions go down for 1 Stalker. Another Stalker is under fire. And Nicoract should be able to shut it down as well. Not the worst trade, trading minerals for gas. But this also means that Nicoract has that much less to threaten the mineral line. And Nightmare, he has defensive warpins. He has 2 Stalkers in position. Nightmare will defend. Hellions, they make their way into the main. They go for a full scout. They get eyes on the Twilight Council. It's 2 gates back at home with a 3rd gateway across the map. And there is a shield battery. 1 probe goes down. Just the 1, though. Nightmare starts to defend, and now he can focus on his harass across the map. He's warping across the map instead. Going for the natural. Marines are exposed. There's no bunker. There's no bunker. No cyclone. Tank is almost done, but Marines are going down, and Nightmare, he has control of the low ground. Oh my god. Does overextend. Yeah, massive punish. 1 Stalker goes down. Tank is going to be sieging up. Boys are pulled to repair. And does he repair in time? Oh, it's close. Oh, he doesn't. Just barely not. The tank goes down. The repairs are barely not good enough. Nightmare, he has the low ground. If only the repairs were like 1 or 2 seconds sooner, then maybe Nicoract holds, but it's just too much to handle, and Nightmare, he has done it. He's broken the natural. He's broken the back of Nicoract. There's 1 more tank on the way, but it's just too much. Tank does siege in the main. But Nicoract, he's contained to 1 base, and Nightmare, he just waddles in. He doesn't care. No fear. Gets the tank. The final shot doesn't go off. GG gets called, and Nightmare takes down Nicoract 1-0. GG. Whew. A very intense game, and again, to be honest, if the repairs were barely good enough, if we had an extra SCV, or if, again, we were able to repair a little bit sooner, get on top of the tank, if the tank was able to survive a little bit longer there, then maybe a completely different game. Maybe Nicoract, he holds, and then we just progress. We just progress from there. We just get into and establish and embrace more of the mid game, but alas, Nightmare, he had that killer instinct to go for the tank, did bring it down, and it was over then and there. GG. GG, well played, very intense game. Nightmare will take it, and Nightmare maintains control of that throne. He's still our king of the hill. Who's up next? Who is going to be coming up next here? As Nightmare takes down another opponent. And I did notice some players earlier. Let's see, I still see Krystianer lurking about as well. Still see him. Still to see him. Meanwhile, shout out to Moritori. Gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much for resubscribing for 10 months. Oh my god, that's a lot of months. Almost a year of support. Thank you, papi, thank you. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Thank you, thank you. Do appreciate the support. Do appreciate it. As welcome to OSC King of the Hill. We're still in the early rounds. I mean, I say in the early rounds. We're around halfway through. We are getting ready for our 8th best of 1. Ooh, and it looks like we have our next challenger. It is going to be another PvT. Another Protoss versus Terran. Technically, I believe a team kill, actually. It's going to be a PvT between Nightmare and BabyMarine. Let's go. For those who don't tune into the podcast, there have been a lot of roster changes recently, and it was, I think, 2 weeks ago that it was announced that Streamer Zone, I mean, it was even before that, like 3 weeks ago, Streamer Zone, they picked up Nightmare, and they also picked up BabyMarine as well. Alongside many others, they picked up BabyMarine, they picked up for Jumi, they picked up Quanta as well, Geralt. They have quite a lineup, quite a solid lineup. So technically teammates here are Nightmare and BabyMarine. And of course, it was a couple of days ago that they announced that they picked up Grant. Grant, of course, he used to cast StarCraft back in the day, many years ago. Grant was an active caster in StarCraft, and he was also picked up by Streamer Zone as a team manager. I don't know if that means that maybe Streamer Zone, they plan on making, like, hosting events and hosting tournaments and having Grant to cast. It's possible. Not too sure. Don't know how Grout is going to embrace that. But we'll see. We shall see. As our players are just deciding on their map, and it looks like we have the answer. Looks like it is going to be... Oh. Looks like it is going to be a PvT here between Nightmare and BabyMarine, and we're going to be loading into Cosmic. Let's go! One of the older maps in the map pool. It has been a while. It's been far too long, but we are going to be jumping into Cosmic Sapphire. Let's go. Let us go. So this map was in the map pool back in 2022. So again, not too long ago, around 2 years. Just over, like, around 2 years ago, this was in the map pool. Very fond memories on Cosmic Sapphire. And now we're back. Good to be back. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the red Protoss player, the Korean Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Nightmare. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran, the Italian Terran player representing Streamer Zone as well as they are teammates. It is BabyMarine. The Terrans are finally coming out. And we'll see BabyMarine if he can succeed where Nicoract otherwise did struggle. I mean, Nightmare, he was so aggressive in that last game. He just never allowed Nicoract to actually get into his own build, to get into his own game there on Crimson Court. I'm curious if Nightmare has something similar planned for BabyMarine. For now, we do see there's no crazy, like, fast eBay block or anything like that. BabyMarine opening up with a Rax Expand economic opener out of our Terran player. And welcome, let me reintroduce you of course to Cosmic Sapphire. A very large map in the map pool, very wide open in the center as well. Once you knock down these rocks, there are a lot of ramps, but the ramps are quite large, they're quite wide I should say. So because of that, players, they typically do avoid traversing through the center. They do screw around the edge instead. There is a gold base that is often not really taken. Maybe in the ultra late game. I do remember a lot of late game SkyToss games on Cosmic Sapphire, late game ZVP, where you can cut the map in half and you can threaten these fringe bases. But I'm not too sure if we can really embrace a longer game between these two in this best of one. I hope we can, but we'll see, as we have yet to really embrace the mid game here in many of these games. Curious where our players do take us. For now, economic opener out of our Terran player. Again, faster CC on location with the Rax Expand. Nightmare back at home, opening up, likewise with his own Gate Expand as well. And we'll see if Nightmare opens up Twilight Council or Stargate. Once again, my eyes are on this probe. Does keep it hidden. Throws down another proxy pylon. Very similar to the game we just saw. Very similar to that game against Nicoract, where he sets up a pylon, sets up a gateway to be hyper-aggressive early on with gateway units. We'll see if BabyMarine, if he's going to be wise to this. If he does piece it together. There's that proxy gateway on the way. BabyMarine going for the 1-1-1, going for his add-on swap. Into Reactored Hellion. Hellion here from BabyMarine. Nightmare just chilling back at home. Does anyone remember this position? This proxy location? Oh my god. It was brutal. The PTSD is real. We'll get into it. Maybe. As additional Widowmines are on the way. Okay, so it's going to be double Hellion into Widowmine production for BabyMarine, working towards, I would imagine, a Widowmine drop. Yep, there we go. Medevac is on the way. So just the initial Hellions for some scouting information and for a little bit of a map presence. But that is not going to be the end-all be-all. It's going to be all about those Widowmine drops instead, as Widowmines are amassing. Now, you rarely get to see quadruple mine drop like this. Whenever we do see widow mine drops, it's only one nowadays in current StarCraft because of the nerf to widow mines. Again, it was the patch at the start of the year which did, in a way, make it a little bit easier to defend against them. When it comes to their radius, when it comes to their splash damage, on top of that, when it comes to alerting whenever the widow mine gets dropped, whenever it burrows. So these quadruple mine drops, they died out, straight up. They were a lot more common last year, but after that change, less so. As they shaded, no! They shaded to the main base, the wall was wide open, and SCVs are going down. Ay, ay, ay. The Adepts, they slip away, they avoid the surround. Five SCV kills already. And they're gonna get more. They get 6, soon to be 7 SCVs. Shading towards the low ground, meanwhile, mine drop across my, oh my god! Mine drop does unload, and most of them do escape. They do get away. So it's going to be 7 SCVs against 6 probes. But what's important is that 3 widow mines did survive. They did survive in the end. Both players are hurting. Both players taking some damage. And BabyMarine, he can always go back in. He can always dive back in with that mine drop. Likewise, Nightmare also warps an extra wave of Adepts. Shading once again. This time, BabyMarine, he is paying attention. Does lift. Again, the big reason why the wall was open earlier is because BabyMarine, he was focusing on his drop, so there was just chaos everywhere. And hopefully BabyMarine is able to keep up here, as Nightmare does shade in extra depths. Behind this, Nightmare goes double gas before the third, so he's going for a bit of a more tech-heavy style. Faster robo into a bay, into blink. So Nightmare, he decides to delay his expansion in favor of Colossus production. But Nightmare should still be expanding, taking the third base at the triangular location instead. Meanwhile, the mine drop is still active, does rotate around towards the natural. There are some stalkers in position. We'll see if Nightmare does respond in time. We'll see how quickly he reacts. Here we go. Did MaNa drop out? Yeah, he dropped out. Did drop out. Adepts, they do get into the main. They do get an SCV. They get 2. 2 SCVs go down. Alas, BabyMarine, he shouldn't take too many more losses. Goes for the auto turret as well. And he does not pull the trigger. He still has that mine drop waiting outside of the natural. Doesn't go for it. Oh! Does poke forward. He thinks about it. Meanwhile, Adepts are still wreaking havoc. They're dropping here into the middle line, forcing some friendly fire. 2 SCVs. Nice damage. Meanwhile, throughout all of this, the Nightmare is now expanding, getting his third. Colossus production has begun. Charge on the way as well. And BabyMarine likewise getting his own third base as well, which is spotted and scouted by Nightmare. I'll spot this. And it looks like for the first time in a long time, we can now calm things down and embrace a longer game state. We're getting into our 3 base economies. Nightmare taking his third, so is BabyMarine. Building up towards the mid game. Let's go. We're macroing. Like, we kind of got there with Demi versus MaNa, but that was still very chaotic because of all the Zealot run bys and the mutas. It was just chaos through and through. BabyMarine's still holding on to that drop. Adepts are shading towards the natural. At the same time, the main army hits the third. BabyMarine getting pulled out of position. Yeah, the tank is exposed. It's going to go down. Massive pick off. Tank goes down. Medevac as well. And the third base is exposed, is compromised. 9 SCV kills Adepts. They're still keeping the army busy. Aye, aye, aye. BabyMarine, he does hit the natural. Oh my god. 7 probes go down. Widow mines do escape, but Nightmare, he does get the better trade. Gets a Widowmine, a tank, a medevac, SCVs. Adepts is still at the natural, still getting more SCV kills. Ooh. 11 SCVs go down. Now at least BabyMarine, he keeps the Widowmines alive once again. Somehow he does it, but it may not matter. It may not matter. Nightmare is going for the kill. Snipes the tank, he gets one. He's gonna get both. Colossus doing so much in the backline as well. Now struggling at a Nightmare, and he's snowballing out of control. GG gets called, and Nightmare takes down BabyMarine 1-0. GG. Nightmare, he does maintain that crown. He's still our king of the hill. And again, he is a big name to bring down as well. Like a Nightmare, he is a heavy favorite to make a deep run in this tournament. Can anyone stop him? Oh boy. I mean, again, that game was very chaotic. You know, there were probes going down all over the place, but we saw there towards the end, unfortunately, BabyMarine, even though he was building up and had a comparable army size, his attention was pulled apart, he was dragged out of position. The Adepts did distract most of the army, he exposed himself, he exposed his own third, and Nightmare took full advantage of BabyMarine. GG. GG, well played. With that, Nightmare claims another win, and the question becomes, who's up next? Who is up next? We've had 2 Terran plays in a row so far. Do we fall back on a Protoss? Do we go back to Zerg? It's been a while. It's been a while since we've embraced a Zerg player. Since Demi, Hatsu, and Wayne. So now could be a time for a Zerg. I saw Iba in the chat earlier. Maybe Iba will be sent out at some point. Potentially. You don't want him exposing him. Oh, no. Oh, we have the answer. Let's go. We have the answer. It's going to be a PvP between Nightmare and, oh my god, and the tuna himself, Krystianer. Let's go. Here we go. The PvP is upon us. Again, Krystianer, he just came off a win in Sparkling Tuna Cup. He won the entire tournament. Nightmare was mysteriously absent from the STC, but now they can face off in at least this best of 1. And what I will say is that this player here is one that can contest against Nightmare, has brought him down before in a longer extended series, and he could be the one to bring him down here in this best of 1 format as well. As sporting in the top left hand corner, we have the tuna himself, the red Polish Protoss player. It is Krystianer. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player, the South Korean Protoss, the current king of the hill, representing Streamer Zone with 3 wins under his belt. It is Nightmare. And predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck. I do think, out of all the players so far, Krystianer is one that can bring Nightmare down, but despite saying that, it's still a best of 1. it's still a best of 1, Pappy, so it's hard to say. I feel like it's 50-50 between these 2 players. I feel like either one can take the win. For now, standard openers, just 2 gate. 2 gate opener out of Nightmare, 2 gate opener out of Krystianer as well. So Pro Scout does dip in. I'll slip into the main. Just trying to keep an eye on any strange proxies. Krystianer likewise moving out with his own probe as well, but there is no proxy pylon set up here. And Nightmare does confirm. He confirms that the pylon has been placed in the main. So Nightmare is fully aware. Krystianer doing the same, scouts the main base, gets eyes on the pylon, and confirms that there is no proxy. There is no proxy pylon. So from here, we can just settle in, we can soon expand. We can see Krystianer going for a greedier build, single unit. It's going to be a sentry into a much faster Nexus. So a very greedy build here by Krystianer. Nightmare instead opening up double Stalker. We'll go for a more delayed expansion, but Nightmare will have quite a bit of firepower. He can go double Stalker into a 3rd and 4th Stalker as well. So we'll have a lot of DPS available here from the blue Protoss. And he can try to punish the greed of Krystianer. Again, there's that Nexus. So Krystianer being quite greedy. Stalkers are moving out. There's that third and fourth Stalker. So Nightmare, he commits. And he's pushing. And it doesn't look like a lot, but 4 Stalkers in the early game, I mean, that can end a game as well. That can snowball out of control. As Nightmare's pushing out. Krystianer back at home. He's got double sentry. Shield batteries on the way. But is it going to finish up in time? Because here comes Nightmare. He's looking to deny that shield battery. Does get a couple of hits off. Shield battery taking a lot of damage. Sentry's trying to hold their own. But the shield battery is going to be denied. Nice cancel. There's a force field, but the Stalkers, they do escape. Yeah, the force field was... Oh my god, still so close. Barely does get away. Meanwhile, Nightmare forced to expand elsewhere. Oh my god, forced to take the unnatural natural. But he keeps the pressure up. And once again, he denies the shield battery. Ooh, that's a kill. That's a kill, not a cancel. Massive pick off. Shield battery goes down. Krystianer, he's in trouble. Pylon falls as well. Krystianer needs a little bit more time for Warp Gate to finish up. For those Warp Gates to kick in. There we go. A couple of boys are being pulled. It will help defend. Of course, saturate the natural. Nice force fields. One Stalker goes down. And Krystianer holds. Krystianer, he does hold. He does have a worker lead as well. Bear that in mind. Krystianer, he does have the better economy. Does have the faster Nexus. And even rushes in. Jesus, Krystianer. He's rushing into a third. He's rushing into a third base, but alas, he's going to be punished for it. That's a kill, not a cancel. That's a kill on the Nexus. Ay, ay, ay. More reinforcements on the way. We have 2 Adepts towards the left to shade into the mineral line. And the main army on the right. Krystianer, he does wall off in time. Catching 1 Adept as well. It does require 2 Adepts to one-shot a probe. And the main armies do clash. Nice force fields by Nightmare. He does catch another Stalker. Oof. Stalker does go down. And Nightmare, can he cancel the third? He's going to try. At the same time, 2 Adepts, they do shade across the map. Krystianer at least delaying some mining time, but he doesn't get much damage. Krystianer unable to shade into the main. Oh, and that base is getting so low. It's going to be denied. Massive pick off. Third base is cancelled. Krystianer took him just a little bit too long to mess up this army. And that advantage, that lead that Krystianer should have had, it's not really there anymore. I mean, it's still there. He still has a worker advantage, true. Still has a better economy, but it could have been even greater. Could have been insane. As Krystianer is getting into his own immortal production. Likewise, Nightmare himself going into his own robo. Twilight Council is done. Blink has completed. Nightmare, he has map control. He has Blink Stalkers. And Krystianer, he has to be the defender. Remember, Krystianer, the reason why Nightmare has Blink and Krystianer doesn't is because Krystianer, who was going into the third, but it was cancelled. So without the third base, Krystianer, tech-wise, is behind. And he has to build up Immortals. So Krystianer is going to be the defender. And he will remain the defender for the near future. Stalkers, they poke in once again. Cancel the shield battery. They catch a sentry. But Nightmare has just been relentless. He just has no chill. He just keeps going. And he needs to be fair. He's going for the dive. He's going for the Immortals. The Immortals are exposed. He gets one. He gets one Immortal. He's going for the other as well. Krystianer, there is no shield battery. No shield battery at the natural base. He gets punished. Nice force fields, but not enough DPS. Yeah, he doesn't punish as hard as he wanted to. And ideally, Krystianer, he wants to build up a high Immortal count to eventually break out, but that's not happening. He had 3, now he's down to 1 Immortal. Adept shades into the natural, now into the main, 3 probe kills. And Nightmare, he's pulling Krystianer apart. Yeah, pushing into the third. Probes are falling left and right. Fun fact, Krystianer still has a probe lead. But the army, what about the army? As Krystianer has lost too much, still no shield battery, no overcharge. The Immortals are going down, the Immortal count gets reset. And Nightmare, does he have too much? Another Immortal has arrived. Krystianer trying to hold on. Does arrive with another Immortal. Krystianer, he still has a probe lead. He still has it. Get some probe kills across the map. Likewise, so is Nightmare. Yeah, blinking into the main. No shield battery here either. Immortal is exposed. He's going for the kill. He wants the Immortal. He's going to get it. I'm afraid to look. How many Immortals have gone down this game? As Elsie just warped right into the natural as well. Nightmare just never pulling back. And it was 4 Immortal kills. That is insane. Imagine Krystianer if he was able to build up to 5, soon to be 6 Immortals. That would have been crazy. But now he's back down to 1. Back down to 1 Immortal. Krystianer taking a 4th, still expanding. Let's go. Charge has completed for Krystianer. But Nightmare is going for the kill. He has a supply lead. Has been able to outtrade Krystianer the entire game. And now he's going for the throats. Overcharge gets popped. Immortals have to pull back. But there are just so many zealots. GG gets called as Krystianer gets overwhelmed. And Nightmare takes down another challenger. And is still our king of the hill. GG. GG, well played. Nightmare will take it. Again, Krystianer had potential, but he was being so greedy. He was being so greedy, and we saw time and time again, Krystianer, he did not have a shield battery at the natural, no shield battery at the third either. He was cutting corners, and Krystianer, he was being punished for cutting corners. I mean, to be fair, like, if Nightmare was any more passive, if he was any more defensive, or if he had left Krystianer alone a little bit longer, then Krystianer would have snowballed out of control. But Nightmare, who was just so active here in this game, just never giving Krystianer really any room to breathe. It was crazy. GG. GG, well played. Nightmare will take it. And with that, Nightmare, he continues his reign. Can anyone stop this man? we need a dream. We need the counter to Nightmare. Oh my god. We need a hero. Alright, who do we have? I see Iba lurking in the chat. Yo. Is it time? Is it time for Iba? Oh god. Someone wake us up from this nightmare. I've heard Krystianer's allergic to shield batteries. It was, look, there were multiple times. At the natural and at the third specifically. But again, I do think that intentionally so, Krystianer, he was trying to cut corners. He was trying to like cut corners and be greedy and get ahead that way. But alas, he was punished for it. And we have our answer. We have our next challenger here. I believe it's going to be a ZVP. Ooh, on 2,000 atmospheres. It has been so long since we've embraced this map. Let's go. It is going to be a PvZ on 2,000 atmospheres, and we have confirmation it is going to be Nightmare versus Iba. Let's go. Iba, if you recall, he woke up a little bit late. He woke up he arrived like half an hour late to Sparkling Tunic Cup, so he wasn't able to compete. Of course, daylight savings is a thing in Europe, so remember to adjust your clocks and set up. I guess that's a little bit antiquated. Like, I remember whenever it's daylight savings, I would have to go around and like adjust the clock on like everything around the house, like with like the analog clocks, or like adjust the time on like, I don't know, like the oven and the microwave. But like nowadays everything is digitized, so like everything's just automatic, right? Like, I don't know. Do people even manually change the time anymore? Smurge. We're getting old, Papi, we're getting old. But here we go, we're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres, we have the red Protoss player. The South Korean Protoss, representing Streamer Zone, the current king of the hill, it is Nightmare. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have its opponent, we have the blue Zerg player from the land of the UK, representing the Platinum Heroes, it is our new challenger, it is Iba. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Don't have to adjust any clocks at home, but I have to set them on my mom's. Ah, I see, I see. Ah. I see. I mean, I don't have any clocks around the house anymore. Like, I've just got my phone, right? Like, that's the only clock I have. Smurge. And my PC, I guess. I just realized I don't even have a clock on the oven. Yeah, there's no clock. Ah. Smurge. Regardless, we are going to be settling in. We get Nightmare with a massive win streak already. Let me just double check. Hold on. Is it 4 or 5? 4. Yeah. Nightmare on his 4-game win streak. Going for the gate expand. Meanwhile, Eba going for the hatch gas pool standard opener. Now, we have seen Eba and Nightmare face off many times. We've seen them face off many times here throughout the course of the year, especially in events like Sparkling Tuna Cup. And Eba has been getting better. And even the last time they faced off, it was a very close series. Went to the ace match between Eba and Nightmare. So I do believe that he has it within him to beat him. But comes down to who is feeling stronger and better on the day. I do give the edge to Nightmare, but I want to believe. I want to believe in the power of Eba. I want to believe that. As for now, standard opener, hatch gas pool into a third. Also, welcome everyone to 2000 Atmospheres. This was a map that was active in the ladder map pool back in 2021 into 2022. So it's been a couple of years. And I do miss it. I do miss it dearly. I mean, I say that some of my most vivid memories of casting on this map is Piglet, Pig's little brother, proxying and going proxy 2x Marauder in TVP against Probe. Specifically in this location, here in between the tall grass. I remember, I vividly remember the proxy Marauders. Taking down Probe at ANZ Champs. We'll always remember. Dark times. Meanwhile, Nightmare, of course, is going to be going... technically, he actually proxied here. He proxied here as Probe spawned bottom left. I remember. But it's going to be a Stargate opener into Void Ray. Nightmare opening up Void Ray, hunting down the Overlords, going for an Oracle follow-up. And this will slightly supply block Eba. Thankfully, he does have backup Overlords on the way. Eba going to be droning, getting his third base up and running, going to be saturating, and just keeping up with the harassment, with the aggression of Nightmare. So far, so good. Ooh, Eba even catching at the attempt. Not bad. But the Oracle does arrive. Will protect. Will defend the Adept. Void Ray's moving out. Getting the Overlord, and Nightmare, he's spicing up. Oh my god. Nightmare opens up Void Ray, delays the third base, and goes for a Fleet Beacon. He's crazy. He's rushing Tempest. I'm assuming it's Tempest. Technically, this could be a carrier rush, but I'm leaning more towards Tempest. We'll see which one it's going to be. Yep, it's going to be double Stargate into Sky Toss. Ay. And Eba is in the dark. And the reason why this is hard to scout is because of the Void Ray opener. Overlords are going down. Overlords are being hunted as we speak. So the Zerg player is in the dark as to what's happening. Lings are being active, and Eba, he will scout how late the third is. That could be a tell, or it could just be a late third, right? Like, it's hard to piece it all together. As Lings, they get eyes on the expansion. And even then, even if it's a late third, it could just be Glaive Adepts. Like, true. Like, it could just be Twilight Council into Glaives. And there it is. Tempests are on the way. Eba's setting up, taking gases, getting to his lair. A couple more Lings are on the way. He's patrolling, trying to get a read on what's going on. Now, thankfully, Eba, he will have some queens to work with, but he's only got 6. Only 6 queens. He's very light on queen production. Uh-oh. And that means these Tempests, they can pop off. They can pop off. Stasis trap here towards the third. Oh, Stasis is denied. Zeba's threatening with Lings, but still has no idea what's going on. There's no Spire, there's no Hydrogen, Tempests are amassing, and Nightmare, instead of moving up with 2 Tempests, is building up and banking up to 4. Oh no. He's banking on more Tempest Lings. They hit the natural, and the Tempests are about to reveal themselves. They're about to push out. The Tempest. Yep, they're now revealed to the Lings. And Eba, he starts up Queens. Spire has been thrown down. Queens are on the way. Eba, he's pulling everything together. And can he hold against the Tempest? As the Tempests are here. We even have a Void Ray on the way to support. How many Queens to defend? 9. It's going to be 9 Queens for Eba. Oof, drones are getting picked up. The Queens, they will be able to buy some time at least. Flash Transfuse. Again, it's going to be a 9 Queen defense. So far, so good. So the Queens are holding their own. And you can see here that Eba, he doesn't chase. He doesn't chase the Tempest. He's just being as safe as possible, just trying to buy time for the Spire. Ooh, 1 Queen goes down. Spore moves forward. Flash Transfuse, but the Spore does survive. Oh, for a little bit longer. And again, it's just all about buying time. Another Queen goes down. Eba getting a little bit too aggressive here. Yeah, he pushes out, bleeds out more Queens. But the Spire's almost done. Spire is almost done. Another Queen falls, and another. But again, Eba, he's trading Queens to just buy time for Corruptor production. And there it is, 13 Corruptors on the way. Eba, he has done well enough. Did cost him 9 Queens went down. But it was worth it. Hopefully it was worth it in the end. As Corruptors are about to spawn in, a 10th Queen falls. Oof. Overlord's under fire. Corruptors have made it. They force a recall. And Eba defends. And what's important as well, Eba, even though he traded how many Queens? 10 Queens? What about the economy? What about the drone count? The drone count is looking very healthy. 92 drones for Eba. The Corruptors have arrived. Eba breaks out. And behind this, Eba, he is amassing roaches. Bearing in mind that Nightmare is going for a Zealot all-in as a follow-up. I say Zealot all-in, a Zealot push as a follow-up. Oh, Eba getting called out though. He has to get out of here. Eba, he cannot engage. Not like this. The Zealots, they're catching him off guard. Eba, he has to pull back. He has to bank up more roaches. Oh, nice. Ravagers morphing in, though. Oh, my God. Eba, calm down. Oh, Queens get caught. Queens are caught out, but the Ravagers, they do buy time. More roaches getting caught out. But Eba, he breaks out of his natural, is pushing towards the 3rd. Zealots, they're getting to the mineral line. A couple of drones are going down. But remember, Eba, he had 92 drones. He can afford to lose some workers. It's fine. He can lose them. He can throw them away. And Eba, he's defending. He's buying time again. It was so clutch to morph in those Ravagers to fully wall off. Eba, he holds. He has a healthy Corruptor count. He's got plenty of Roach Ravager. Hydro production has begun. Lurker Den is on the way. Eba, he's still on 85 drones. And he finds another expansion. Archons, they try to respond. Will the base be denied? Looks like it will. Nice cancel on the Nexus. Zealots, they do get into the 4th, though. Roaches instead, they're out of position. They're going for a counterattack. Yeah, they're going for the natural. The cannon does buy time. Some probes are falling. It's okay, Dan. It's okay. 10 probe kills. That's looking better. 10 probes go down. Very nice damage. Very nice run by here by Eba. Gets 11 probes. And throughout all this, Eba, remember, he was taking into Lurkers, and the Lurkers, they have arrived. Hive is done. Lurker upgrades are on the way. Eba successfully has transitioned from Roach Corruptor into Lurker Tech. Into what should be Hydro Lurker Viper. So the Lunkers are ready. We have a wall of spines on the way. So Eba, he's walling up here on the right-hand side to defend against his other run-bys. And he should be walling up here on the left as well, as the Lurkers are getting in position. So I'll say run into the Lurkers. Whereas here on the left as well, Iba, he's keeping up. He defends. And Iba is going to be the first to max out. And you can see Iba, he's just throwing away his roaches and ravagers. He is down to, yeah, 0 roaches, 0 ravagers. He's just refining his army. Getting more lings, more hydras. Well, he still has roaches here, I should say. And Nightmare's going to try to break out, but Iba has surround potential. That is a lot of Storm, though. That's a lot of High Templar. Jesus. That's 3 High Templar with at least 1 Storm each. Sorry, that's 6 High Templar, what I meant to say. With at least 1 Storm each. Zealots are cleaned up. This Nightmare is pushing in. The wall of lurkers are ready, though. Iba is prepared. The Lings, they hit the 5th. They force a cancel, heading towards the natural. That's a lot of Zealots, though. Do warp into the fan. Iba dragging the army into lurkers as well. Iba, let's go. Drags in the Zealots. Tempest do force back the lurkers, but Iba, he's more than happy to just drag the army further into creep. Roaches are being thrown away. Not the most efficient trade here from Iba, but he does throw away his roaches. Replacing that army with more Hydra. Oh, the lurkers are getting caught out. There is detection. Yeah, there is the observer with the army. And the lurker looks like it will barely go down. Oh my god, it's close. It lives. Lurker does live. Only for so long. Never mind. And you can see how patient Iba has been. I mean, the expansion is eventually going to go down. That is true, but Iba is taking another base here towards the right-hand side. And he's just building up, waiting for upgrades. The Vipers are now out. They have energy for abductions. Again, really good use of this Observer when it comes to the Zealot Harass. To hunt down these stray lurkers. As Nightmare, he does rotate around towards the right-hand side. He's double expanding, taking top left and bottom right as well. But I feel like Nightmare's main army is still lacking a little bit here. It still feels vulnerable. I guess he's so heavily reliant on these storms. Oh, that's a lot of Archons. Jesus. It's a lot of Archons. Iba going for a lurker counterattack. At least attempting to, but he's running into a wall of cannons. There's a threat and a dive. Iba catching transferring workers, not bad. And Iba is collapsing in. He tries to the storm zone away. Viper doesn't quite abduct much of anything. Gets an Archon. Does escape. See Iba trying to slow push towards that expansion. Takes down the Zealots. Nightmare gaining more ground. He denies the base. Iba does need another base up and running soon. Lurkers are doing well. And Nightmare, he has to respond. So he backs off. He abandons his position. He's going top left. He's going for these lurkers. That means that Iba can push towards bottom right. So even though Iba will lose these lurkers, he still takes out an expansion. That's what's important. So A base is going to go down. Iba, can he get an Archon? Maybe one. Up, up. Nah, not even. The Archon survive. Nexus falls. And now Iba can rotate towards the north. Well, meanwhile, the Zealots, they want the expansion. They're going to get it as well. These are not cracklings. Iba does not have Adrenal either. I did just realize. So these are +1 lings. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, no Adrenal. No Adrenal for Iba. It looks like he has kind of forgotten some of his upgrades here. Lurkers being cleaned up. We see Eva just replacing Lurkers with Ultras instead. My biggest concern here is that, again, the melee upgrades are lacking for Eva, so these Ultras are not going to be as robust as they otherwise would be. You know, Corruptors, they're going for top left. And it looks like the expansion is going to go down. Nexus falls. Nightmare pushing in. Doesn't care. Now, Nightmare, he has lost 2 expansions. Doesn't have the best economy. But these Ultras, they don't have kindness plating. They're not ready. The Ultras, they're not ready for a fight. They need a little bit more time. Still, because they push towards top left. Eva getting spread thin. The Stalkers, can they get the expansion? It's going to be close. Do we transfuse? We do. Just in time. Oh, no, it's still going to go down. We need to transfuse, though! The base does fall. Yeah, unable to transfuse here. Eva, he was distracted, was focusing elsewhere. Eva desperately needs one of these bases. Nightmare is pushing back in. I mean, with this rotation, Nightmare would have knocked down the base anyway. Eva pulls back. I mean, that is a lot of Ultras. They will fare better against these Archons, especially out in the open. Eva making more Ultras. That's the difference between Ultra and Lurker, is that Ultras have more dive potential. Lurker is more of a defensive unit, and he's getting on top of the High Templar. Up! The Storms! Storms get thrown down. Every High Templar does fall. Massive pickoffs. The High Templar crumble. The Tempest as well. And Eva, has he done it? He takes out the shield battery, he takes out the overcharge. There's still 1 Tempest left. Oof. Yeah, the Corruptors have to pull back. Ultras are being cleaned up. And Nightmare holds. Nightmare, he does hold. He cleans up the army at the same time. Zealot gets 14 drones. Ay, ay, ay. 15 drones go down. Eva, his economy is in the gutter. And again, he was denied these expansions. But what's important here is that Nightmare does not have a bank. He does have a fresh mining base, fully operational. That is true. He has these 2 mining bases, actually. But Nightmare needs time to rebuild, so does Eva. So both players have to lick their wounds. Both players have to refocus their economies. Nightmare did survive with 1 Tempest and 1 Void Ray. And now he's going to mass Immortal Archon. And this is an Ultra killing army. This is designed to just completely shut down Ultras, which is why I appreciate Eva. He is not remaxing on Ultra. He's remaxing on Broodlord. That is the correct choice. That is the correct move. Bearing in mind, where's the Sky Toss? Where is it? It's gone. The Tempest count, it's 1 Tempest. 1 Tempest, and that is the answer to Broodlords. Usually, you need a high Tempest count to shut down Broodlord play, but there's only 1. So I love that, again, Eva, he's been very fluid when it comes to his army composition. Very fluid. It started with, you know, initially Roach Corruptor, into Hydra Lurker, into Ultra, and now into Broodlord. And the Broodlords are the answer. Gets a Fungal off. And Nightmare cannot engage. Not fully here. Does activate Cloak. Cloak gets activated. The Broodlords... Oh, the base is going to go down. The Broodlords, they hold their own against the Archons. Meanwhile, the Ultras, they just go for a big counterattack. And there's a recall. Army does recall back home. Ultras, they pull back. More Archons getting caught out. And the Ultras, they come in for a surround. They clean up the remaining Archons. So very nice surround here by Eva. Did lose an expansion, so Eva, he's actually out of money. So even though this was a really good move and a really good fight for Eva, now Nightmare has time to build up Tempest, and Eva, his economy is suffering. He needs a base. He needs to shut down some of these expansions. He does get this fresh mining base, but this is not good enough. Nexus goes down. The longer this goes on, the more Tempests are building up as well for Nightmare. As Broodlords are threatening top left. Ultras, once again, they hit the center base. They catch the production. Robos go down. 1 Broodlord falls. Oh, another takes a lot of hits. I'm just trying to get in position. I'll just fall back. And Nightmare, he does maintain both bases. He still has a bank. He's replenishing his cannons. Meanwhile, at least because of this aggression, Eba, he gets his bases back up and running. He has top left, center right, and bottom right as well. Eba, he now has mining. He has an economy. Looks like we do have some Immortals in position to defend. Ultras are tempted. Can they get on top of these Immortals? Not with the Archons. Yeah, no, not like this. Again, Immortals, they just melt. They melt Ultras. Less so Broodlords, though. Broodlords do respond. That's going to force a Skytoss to respond as well. How many Tempests do we have? 7. 7 Tempests for Nightmare. Nightmare's double expanding, so crucial that he gets a base up and running as well. Nightmare, he's out of a gas bank. He needs one of these bases. And as Nightmare establishes himself here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, Ultras, they go top left. Ultras, they are more mobile. They do hit the top left base. At least they try to, but alas, Nightmare, he keeps up. He has Immortals in position. Tempest pushing in. Nightmare is getting into the mineral line. Oh, that one Zealot wreaking havoc gets 4. Soon to be 5 drone kills. Uh-oh. This is getting out of hand. 6 drones go down. More Zealots on the way. Eba doesn't quite have an army to deal with this. Oof. It's a lot of drone kills. Yeah, the spine crawlers aren't ready. The Immortals aim top left, and Eba, he's being pulled apart. Again, the main armies are good for Eba, but it's so immobile, so slow. The Broodlord specifically. Another base goes down, 26 drone kills. Nightmare's popping up. He's pushing right through the center. Eba scrambling his army together. Broodlords hit the northern expansion. Tempest do respond. And these Broodlords, they have to get out of here soon. Do you get a couple of probes? Tempest is still on the way. Corruptors as well. Of course, they poke in. They have to get out of here. One Broodlord goes down. A second Broodlord. Oof, and a third. Ay, ay, ay. Massive pickoffs. Professors, they do slow down the army, though. This army is out of position, but we do have Immortals. So Nightmare, he does have his army split in 2. He's got Immortals here to defend. The Ultras, they do nothing. Broodlords have to rotate instead. And as the Broodlords rotate, that means there's nothing up here to defend. Like, the Ultras are down here towards the south, so the Broodlords. The Skytoss army can push forward. Okay, Ultras respond. So there's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors that's going on here, where the Broodlords want to engage with the Archon Immortal, and the Ultras don't. One Tempest falls. Skytoss does recall. Broodlords have to back up. Nightmare has established these bases. They're fully operational. Another base on the way as well. So Nightmare, he has a comparable, if not greater, bank than his opponents. And I will say that now Nightmare has... I would give him the lead here. Eba at one point had a better economy, but no longer. I mentioned before that Eba, he had to stop these bases, and he hasn't been able to. He's been trying, don't get me wrong. He's been trying desperately to rotate and to counterattack. Speaking of, nice rotation here with these Broodlords. Skytoss, not where it needs to be. Broodlords, they will finally get this expansion. This base should fall. And Nightmare, he doesn't respond to it. He keeps pushing. Yeah, he just brings everything together. The entire army comes together as one. Bungles do slow Nightmare down. We have a line of lurkers now to defend, which I think is quite necessary. Corruptors, they do come back home. Storms do zone. Broodlords are coming back as well. They did get the expansion, but there is another base getting up and running. Brutal pickoffs. Can we get the fungal? Not quite. The feedbacks are brutal. The feedbacks, they shut down the infestors. No fungal growths. And we're going to try to commit. And I'm not sure that Eva can. Yeah, he's not going to take this fight. Nightmare, he shuts down the army, cleans up all the Corruptors, the Ultras, and everything else. The Tempest, they do survive. And where's the anti-air? Where is the anti-air? Again, without any fungal growths or parasitic bombs, we saw the spellcasters were shut down. Nightmare, he runs away with this. And Nightmare, he still has a bank. Zealots here towards the north, Zealots into the main, Zealots, they wreak havoc. Even Zealots here towards bottom right. Zealots, they crazy. They pop up. The power of Zealots in late game's EVP is brutal. They can just so much here with so little. They get 9 drone kills. They force Eva back. And again, Nightmare maintained that Skytoss army. And again, this was impressive. This was very impressive by Eva to force his game state, and there were even moments in this game where he was even, I would say, in a better position. But the reality is that Eva, he's out of money. He's out of resources. He's just lost too many bases and too much of his economy over the course of this game. On top of that, he just wasn't able to stop the expansions. He could not stop the growth of Nightmare. Here we go. We activate the cloak. We throw down the slow zone. Corruptors, they try to commit into a wall of cannons. They do take down a good chunk of those Tempests, but they cannot keep going. GG gets called, and Nightmare, he will hold, he will survive, he will take the game, and he is still our King of the Hill. GG. Oh my god. That was crazy. GG, well played. Nightmare, he will take it, but a shout out to Eva because he took it to Nightmare here in the late game. And again, there were definitely some strong moments for Eva. If you remember specifically, I'm referring to that moment when Eva went for the Broodlord transition. He went for the Broodlord switch, and when Nightmare had only one Tempest, like that was a big potential moment for Eva. But Nightmare, he was able to buy time, he was able to get into his own Tempest production, get back into his Skytoss, and we saw a lot of, like, just movement, a lot of army movement between the players, where Eva was constantly trying to rotate with his own Ultras and Broodlords in opposite directions. Likewise, Nightmare was rotating as well. If Nightmare was ever caught off guard, he could always recall, he always had a recall available when need be. And for the most part, Nightmare was keeping up with Eva. GG, well played. Whew. Oh my god, what a game. what a game, Pappy. Crazy. GG, well played. And with that, Nightmare will take it, and the question becomes, where are we headed next? Oh boy. Meanwhile, as we're getting ready here for our next match, for our next challenger, if you want to help support the OSC circuits when it comes to OSC King of the Hill and the OSC championships, the OSC 2024 championship is on the horizon. It's going to be taking place on in January, and it looks like there is going to be an Indiegogo. There is an Indiegogo for that event. I guess we can go into it once we have a little bit more downtime, as it looks like we have our next opponent. It's going to be a PvP between Nightmare and UedSoldier. Oh. Here we go. Un momento. Okay, it is going to be that Protoss versus Protoss. Beautiful. Again, UedSoldier, he's also an up-and-coming Protoss player. Has been on the rise here over the past year as well. Nightmare is still, again, as always, is still the heavy favorite to just win the entire event and just go undefeated. But what is also important as well when it comes to OSC King of the Hill is that this is also a battle of endurance, Papi. Can you go all night long? That's, you know, people, they want to say they can, but can Nightmare, you know, can he put his money where his mouth is? And go all night long and take down all these players. As especially that final game, Eva, I'm sure, did take a lot of energy out of Nightmare, did wear him down quite a bit, and yeah, it can be pretty intense playing all these games consecutively, one after another, after another, after another. No, here we go. Catching up, catching up. I see Eva in the chat. Ultras are trash. Smooch. They had their moments, is what I will say. They had the. If you remember, Eva, there was that one time where you dove at the, I think it was at the at the natural location, and you caught all the High Templar, right? Like that was a really strong moment as well when you were able to reset the High Templar counts. I think that was the moment when you dove. I think it was after that fight when you switched into Mass Broodlord. I think that was when that occurred, when you caught all the High Templar. But yeah, when the immortal count gets quite high like that, you do see how fragile ultras are. Smooch. Yo, I see Fiant. Good morning. Oh my, did you just wake up? What time is it? Hold on. Sweden time. Almost 4 p.m. Good morning, Fiant. Good morning. Hope you had a good rest. Hope you had some good sleep. When are you playing in Sparkling Tuna Cup? Fiant. Shaking my head. You been getting better? Yeah, for sure. 100%. I see someone asking, is it an old match or why is it in 2000 atmospheres? As I mentioned before, but to those that are maybe tuning in for the first time, here in OSC King of the Hill, they feature an extended map pool where players voted this season for which maps to add from previous map pools in the past. So every season, the players, they vote on a new set of maps to be added to the extended map pool, and in this season of OSC, it is going to be 2000 Atmospheres, Eternal Empire, and Cosmic Sapphire. So those 3 older maps from years gone by are added to the map pool. So this match was not old or anything like that. It is just an extended map pool. There you go. So it looks like we just had an issue making the lobby, but we're good. Alright, good to go. As we're jumping into our 11th match of the night. As a reminder, there's 15 best of ones in total, and we're jumping into the 11th one. We're nearing the end of the broadcast. Another 5 matches ahead of us, and 5 more chances for someone to bring Nightmare down. And here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the green Protoss player representing CSO Esports. It is UedSoldier. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, the current king of the hill, the streamer zone. It is Nightmare. We go. Just double checking. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. 5 wins. Yeah, Nightmare, he's on a 5-game win streak, longer than any other player so far. I mean, MaNa had a good one himself. MaNa, he went on a 4-game win streak before he had to otherwise leave the event. Before something came up IRL and MaNa was otherwise preoccupied. Potentially could have gone for a longer win streak, of course, and had a competitive win streak with Nightmare. This is what we need. MaNa, papi. We need him back. Without MaNa, the world is a nightmare. Not like this. Only Nightmare. as it is going to be a 2-gate opener. 2-gate opener out of UedSoldier, likewise 2-gate opener out of Nightmare as well. One moment, I'll fix up the in-game names as well. That's good enough. Also, if you're in the chat, predictions now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. My apologies, I was a little bit distracted, but predictions now open for this best of one. Here we go. Oh my god, as UedSoldier is going for the proxy within the natural. Let's go. He's like, you know what? Nightmare, he's massive, he's terrifying. How do we bring him down? We cheese the hell out of him. Let's go. UedSoldier with the proxy robo in the natural of Nightmare. And if Nightmare doesn't scout this, if he doesn't realize what's going on, then UedSoldier, he can pull this off. He can try to catch him with his pants down. Adepts are on the way. They're going to be rattling across the map. Likewise, double adept opening here by UedSoldier as well. Ooh, Nightmare going for the Stargate before the expansion. Going Stargate first for Oracles, I would imagine. So Adepts are moving out. So far, so good. So far, Nightmare, he is none the wiser. He is none the wiser. Adepts a shade towards the left-hand side. Did you run into the Adepts? Likewise, UedSoldier, I imagine, going to be fully walling off. Getting into Stalker production behind this. Oh, the probe is here, though. And the probe does attempt to block. Oh, and the wall is going to be open. Nightmare, he can cancel. He cancels the pylon. He busts in. Stalkers have arrived. Never mind. UedSoldier, he does hold. Nightmare had potential. He still gets in. He still does get in. Shays into the main. He commits. He can one-shot probes. Probes are going down. Meanwhile, War Prism across the map. The Immortal has arrived. Going for the pylon. Stalkers likewise have made it as well. They trigger the shields. Ooh, the gateways are depowered. Very nice pickoff. But there's an Oracle to defend. And can he bring down the Immortal? The Prism can lift. Up. Can we save the Immortal? We can. Oh my god. Does save the Immortal just barely. Has taken a lot of hull damage. But with a micro of this Prism, we can keep going. The gateways are repowered. Shield battery as well. UedSoldier going to be reinforcing. Oracle moves out across the map. There is a shield battery in position as well. UedSoldier, he's safe. He's ready. And is UedSoldier the chosen one? Can he do it? Takes down the shield battery. Shield battery goes down. Nice control out of UedSoldier. Does micro back. Pushing into the main. Void Rays in production. Nightmare needs a little bit more time. A couple more seconds, and the Void Ray looks like it is going to pop out. The Void Ray has arrived. Immortal on the way as well. It is in production. UedSoldier trying to find another way in. Is forced back for now. Going for the gateway. Once again, nice juggling. Saves the Stalkers and gets a gateway. But the longer this goes on, the better it is for Nightmare. It's built up an Immortal. Second Immortal's on the way. Oracle tries to go in. There are Stalkers back at home. I mean, that's still a win for Nightmare. He does force a defensive warp in for UedSoldier. Gets the Observer. And UedSoldier, he's waiting for his second Immortal. On top of that, bearing in mind, Nightmare does have a sentry, can force field the ramp. Void Ray coming in from behind, looking to depower that robo. He can and he will. And Pylon is going to go down. Stalkers is just late to respond. UedSoldier, even supply block, he's expanding. Okay, I see you. Is just going to expand at this point. I mean, it looks like UedSoldier, he recognizes he cannot break Nightmare. He cannot break him anymore. So instead, going to expand, going for his own Stargate, probing up. And we'll attempt to macro. He's going to attempt to macro out of this. But soon it's going to be on Nightmare who will break out. He will break out from the contain. So he's just leapfrogging here onto the low ground. How will the fight unfold? Again, it's going to come down to the control of our two players here. And he's pushing in. UedSoldier not quite ready. He's down in army supply. He's going to be forced back. Voidray comes in from behind, going for the prism. Yeah, the full surround. And there's no way out of this. Nightmare, he collapses on the army. UedSoldier forced into the main base of Nightmare. There's no way out of this. It's a one-way trip. Forced to recall. And he will save the Immortals at least. Does save the Immortals. But Nightmare, he breaks out. And he's pushing across the map. Back at home, what do we have to defend? We have a shield battery. We soon have 2 more shield batteries on the way. Immortals are amassing as well. Here comes Nightmare. At the same time, he's got the Oracle to go into the main. Sentries are warping in for those force fields. UedSoldier does have some Phoenixes, though, and 3 shield batteries. Can he pull off the defense? I mean, if he can lift all the Immortals, then maybe. There is potential. Oh my god. Nightmare going for the main. Force fielding the ramp. Cheeky move here out of Nightmare, but he doesn't get in. And he does spot the Phoenixes. From here, he will retreat. The force fields will buy time. And Nightmare, he gets out. Let's pull away. Phoenixes, they attempt to chase down at least the War Prism. Oh, but they didn't quite get it. Prism does survive. UedSoldier taking an economic lead. Slightly ahead in probes. Oh my god. Gets 2 probes. Probe kills Nightmare into the main. Does not get the stasis off. Quick reaction from UedSoldier. Very nicely done. Shuts down the stasis. And we calm down from here. Just calming things down. We're building up. Nightmare still has a massive army supply lead when it comes to his Blink Stalker counts. Or, I guess, Stalkers, soon to be Blink. As Blink is on the way. So Nightmare, he still has potential to break UedSoldier. We'll see. We'll see if he can survive this. Buy time. And build up a comparable army. Again, UedSoldier just abusing the immobility of this army from Nightmare. Still no Blink. But Blink is about to finish. Nightmare, he's had enough. He's pushing through the center of the map. He does have a 20 supply lead. 20 army supply lead, I should say. And more Stalkers warping in. And the Phoenixes, they were a nice addition, but 1 Phoenix goes down. No, the second! No! The second! And the third! Phoenix count gets reset. Now Nightmare, he can push. He can commit. There's only 2 Immortals. Behind this, Nightmare, he's expanding, taking a 3rd. Voidray goes for the main. Does blink in, and he can force field the ramp as well, just locking UedSoldier out of his own main. GG, good luck in the next game, and Nightmare, he will survive. He will take another game. GG. There was potential. UedSoldier, I'm sure he was making Nightmare sweat at least a little bit, but in the end, it was not quite enough. Nightmare, he was able to stabilize, able to defend his main, able to get into his own Void Ray, Immortal, and Shield Battery production, defend the main base, eventually break out, and snowball from there. GG. GG, well played. Nightmare takes another win. And who do we have left? That's the question. Who is left here? I mean, I saw Fiant earlier in the chat, so he could rise up. He could rise to the challenge. True, true. It's possible. Fiant could be up next. Who else? Geralt is in the UK. Geralt is traveling, so I'm not too sure if he's going to be available. Who else do we have? Yo, I saw Moja, papi. Annyeong haseyo, good morning. Moja, he could step in. True. Get a Terran in there. Nightmare versus Nightmare. Oh no. are getting ready. Who is it going to be? Who else haven't we seen here tonight? Some of the other Polish Protoss players, I'm thinking of like Art, for example, or Bapi, or Ziomek, or Rodzin. Who else am I thinking of? Oh my god! Someone just came online! Oh, he's a big boy. Let's go! Oh my god, Nikita, Papi, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Good to see you! Who's up next, you might ask? One of the best Protoss players in all of Europe. I mean, we need one of them. We need a big name here to bring Nightmare down. Is it going to be enough, though? Up next is going to be SKillous. SKillous versus Nightmare in another PvP. Let's go. Let us go. So we are just going to be setting up. Now, again, this is still a best of one. This could still go either way, but again, SKillous, he's another one of those bigger names, another one of those higher tier players that does compete in OSC events. I mentioned before, players like SKillous, Spirit, MaxPax, ByuN, Solar, they do drop by from time to time whenever they're available, and SKillous, he's here. Has risen to the challenge. And it looks like the game is going to be on Side Delta. Very interesting. Okay, okay. You have my attention. Now, we've spoken about Side Delta before, right? We've spoken about how PvPs on Side Delta, they go a very specific way. They allow for more economic builds. They allow for Phoenix Wars as well. It can be, we have seen, because it kind of lends towards economic openers, we have seen players try to abuse that and try to go for these one base all-ins. I'm curious how SKillous is going to approach this. Remember, this is his staging ground. He has chosen this map. And I wonder if he plans on trying to all-in Nightmare, or if he plans to embrace a more economic game and a more greedy game instead. This could go a couple of different ways. Oh boy. Here we go. We are going to be jumping in and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Side Delta. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. Currently on a 6-game win streak, the current king of the hill, it is Nightmare. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have one of the best Protoss players in all of Europe. He is here. He has been called upon. And can he bring down the current king of the hill? For Team Liquid, it is SKillous. Here we go. Again, when it comes to Protoss players in Europe, you don't get much better than SKillous. You know, you have your top three. You have MaxPax, Showtime, and SKillous as the trifecta in Europe. And we'll see. We'll see if we can bring Nightmare down. As a reminder, though, this is still a best of one. If you're in the chat, you know what time it is. Predictions. Predictions are open. Place your bets on how you think this best of one is going to unfold. Nightmare has a little momentum on his side, but he could also be getting tired out a little bit here. It's been a pretty intense time for Nightmare. Likewise, SKillous, is he warmed up? And what kind of build does he have in store for us? 2-gate opener. He's crazy. 2-gate opener here on Side Delta. Bold move by SKillous. And will he turn this into a one-base all-in? Okay. So a couple of things. As we mentioned previously, Side Delta is one of the maps where it is legal. It is expected to go for this. Gate expand. We see a gate cybercore into a Nexus setup. Economic opener by Nightmare. SKillous on the flip side goes for a 2-gate opener on the high ground. This is very suspect. This screams one-base all. This screams one-base all-in. Screams one-base all-in, and there's a pylon. There's the setup for the all-in. Here we go. He scouts! No! Nightmare. Again, he's scouting. He's scouting towards the left-hand side, towards the right-hand side as well. He does get eyes on the pylon. And now Nightmare, he's ready. He's ready for what's to come. The robo has been placed. SKillous, he's committing to the one-base all-in. And Nightmare, he's aware. He already makes Zelda. He's going for the pylon. This is a rough start for SKillous. He has been scouted. He has been found out. Ooh, and Nightmare, he responds as well with his own defensive robo. Oh boy, so this is going to be a tough one to pull off, as the pylon is under fire. pylon is under fire. We have backup pylons. Oh, gee, 3 pylons. 3 more pylons on the way to make sure the robo stays powered. This is a big investment, big commitment here by SKillous. But again, does it pay off? As the robo does finish, Immortal's on the way. Likewise, Nightmare, he's responding with his own shield battery, his own Immortal production as well. So Immortal versus Immortal. Of course, Nightmare has defensive advantage. He has the high ground. Stalkers have arrived. They shut down the Adepts. Nightmare even going for his own counter proxy. And now I'm not much more concerned here for SKillous. Prism is on the way. War Prism's on the way for that high ground vision. Shading towards the natural, does commit to the shade. But again, we still have that shield battery. There's a backup shield battery on the way. The Adepts are slowly breaking through though. SKillous gaining some ground, going for the mineral line. Will commit to the shade, does get in. And probes are going down. Not bad. Gets 3, 4 probe kills so far. This is getting a lot done. Takes down the Stalker. Barely keeps the Adepts alive, just barely. But not for much longer. Meanwhile, at the same time, the Immortal is pushing in. We do warp in the Sentry as well, and he's going for the pylon. He depowers the gateways. Force fields the ramp, shuts down one of the Immortals, and there's no way out of this. There's no way out. There's no counter warp prism micro. And SKillous, he's doing it. He's came with the production, takes down the Immortal. There's 1 Immortal left. Keep going. He can keep going. SKillous. At the same time, across the map, Nightmare, he warps in. Ooh, gets into the mineral line. Probes are going down. But SKillous, he doesn't care. He's going for the kill. He's going for the throats. Force fields the Immortal, shuts it down as well. Ooh, the armor is triggered. Sorry, the shields are triggered. The Immortal does survive a little bit longer. But it's going to be chased down. The Immortal falls. And now what is there left? What is there left here for Nightmare? He's got 1 gateway powered. And finally, the King is dead. GG, SKillous. Despite being scouted, by the way, it doesn't even matter. He commits to the additional 3 pylons. He reinforced with Adepts. And it was interesting because it wasn't like he brute forced his way into the win there. I mean, he was able to get into the main base with his Adepts, able to drag the army apart of Nightmare, able to pull apart his attention, wreak havoc in the mineral line, while his Immortals were able to break through the ramp at the same time. GG, SKillous has done it. Oh my god. GG, well played. SKillous with the scouted 1 base all in. Nightmare was doing everything right, by the way. He was going for his own robot production, his own Immortal as well. He was walling up, getting into his own shield battery, but there was only the 1 shield battery on the low ground. Likewise, he was unable to deny the Adepts busting in as well. And with that, congratulations to SKillous. GG. We have a new King of the Hill. We have a new King of the Hill. SKillous does take his place here on top of the throne. And with that, oh my god, we're heading over to the European region here. No rest for the wicked. But a shout out to Nightmare. Nightmare, he went on a 6-game win streak, longer than any other player here tonight. So Nightmare, he did have the longest win streak. Very, very impressive. SKillous has some catching up to do. Some catching up to do, Pat. Aye. As we head on over to the European region. And we jump into our next game. Here we go. It's going to be a PvT between SKillous and Moja. Oh boy. Okay, Moja has risen to the challenge. Hold on, just making sure that the predictions were paid out. Oh, it was 50-50. Let's go. Almost 50-50. 46 to 54. Slightly in favor of SKillous. The people, they believe, they had faith. They had faith. And now everything is turned on its head, and now it becomes, can anyone stop SKillous? We mentioned before, but every now and then you get these big names that do rise up, and SKillous is another one of those massive names here in the scene. One of the top 3 Protoss players in Europe. And here we go. We're getting into our next best of 1. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Side Delta, we have the German Terran player, the Red Terran. Oh, the new challenger. It is Moja. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player for Team Liquid, the new King of the Hill. It is SKillous. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Let's go. Well played, Nightmare. SKillous is now the new Nightmare. True, true. How do you stop Protoss? It has to be with another Protoss player. The only way, papi. The only way. Kappa. I mean, MaNa didn't even lose. Remember that. He took himself out. Undefeated. So now we are moving out. We do have the initial racks expand out of Moja, going for an economic opener. Looking to go for a faster CC. And SKillous, he's on the way across the map to scout to get a read on what's going on. Here we go. That is a little bit concerning. I'll deal with it later. It's fine, it's fine. There was like a massive spider in the room, just as a heads up. It was actually it came to my attention earlier. During the cast. I don't think you heard it, but there is a massive black there was a massive black spider in the last game that I didn't notice, but I was trying to focus on SKillous versus Nightmare, and now I've lost track of it, so I will have to we'll have to address that later. We'll be fine after the cast. I'll try to hunt it down. Don't hurt her. It actually terrified me because I was casting and it actually crawled onto my hand, like onto the hand that's on my mouse, and I didn't notice until it was on me. I was like, oh my god. So I shook it off and it scuttled away. So we'll have to deal with that eventually. Meanwhile, Deb does shade into the main, gets 2 SCVs. She did. I didn't get a good look at what kind of spider it was, but it was black and quite large and quite thin as well. Quite thin. So I actually don't know what kind of spider it is. Just know it was long, black, and thin. And yeah, I mean, if it's willing to get on my hand, I would rather not sleep with it in the room. So I'm gonna have to look for it later. You'll be fine. As for now, we're settling in. We do have SKillous going for a third. It was a 2-gate blink. 2-gate blink into a third base. Economic opener here out of SKillous. Meanwhile, Moja likewise building up and getting to his own economy, getting to a 1-1-1. Ooh, building up towards a tank Banshee push. Let's go. Next thing, random capybara comes into the... Oh no. Not the capybara. I would be more okay with that, because I could just push it out of the house. God. Sorry, I'm just looking around. The last time I had an encounter with a spider on stream, the internet went down because it like dropped on the modem, and I like went for it, and all hell broke loose. and the stream died. It was funny though, because I think the last thing the stream heard was like was me like like screaming about the spider, and then bam, like the stream just died. It's like, oh god, the spider got me. That was like last year. Here we go. Moja, he's pushing. He's going to be pushing again. We spoke about it. He's going for a tank Banshee push. But so far, Skill's doing a great job at slowing it down. It's only 2 Stalkers, but he does pick away at the Marines. Bearing in mind, there is no stim. No stim with this army, so you can just pick away at those bio units. Banshees, they don't go actually with the main army. They do hit the natural instead, going for the mineral line. And the Banshees, they do get in. There's nothing at home to defend. Probes are going down. Yeah, Observer out of position. So far, 7 probe kills. 7, soon to be 8, 9, 10. Oh my god, 10 probes. 10 probes go down. Moja gets across the map. He's going for the 3rd. Stalkers are falling, and can Skills focus on those tanks? Overcharge gets popped. Stalkers going down, and Moja, has he done it? 1 tank falls. Just barely the 1 tank. And Skillous is holding on. Is holding on. Will lose 10 probes in the process, but now he has the Immortal. The Immortal has arrived, and that means he can get on top of the tank. He can shut this down. And he will clean this up. It was quite intense. Like Moja, he almost did it. He was able to get quite a bit of damage, but he does not break the 3rd, which means Skillous, I mean, he's on 3 bases, has the worker lead. I mean, even on workers, I should say. But Moja is heavily oversaturated and needs to take his own. So Skillous defends. He moves out, going for a counterattack. Moja back at home, getting to his own stim. What if the spider's the new light? He captured the stream. Oh no. Oh no. I'm like so paranoid now that it's gonna like crawl on me again. Like ay. So I apologize for being a little bit distracted from the cast as the boys are being pulled. It's one of those things where like you feel like something's on you when there isn't. The paranoia. And again, Skillous will see if he can punish the move out here from Moja. Bearing in mind he has no tanks. Remember, he lost his tanks in the push, so there's no tanks left. No bunker either. A little bit greedy by Moja. No bunker in position. But Skillous, he doesn't quite test his fate here. He doesn't quite keep pushing. He does back off. Pulls away. Brings the Immortal back home. And he's transitioning. Gases are being taken. Forge on the way as well. Skillous going for a splash damage of choice. It's not going to be Colossus. It looks like it's going to be Storm, I would imagine, with the Temple Archives. Till then, Moja fighting for map control. Let's force them back. What's the record for most wins in a row for a King of the Hill? It's very rare. I think there's a stat. Shout out to Eddie. I think Eddie knows. I want to say there's like 4 players. There's like 4 players that have won 15 games. All 15 games in a row. I think there's I want to say, I think MaxPax was 1. I think MaxPax did it recently. When I say recently, I mean like last year. I think Special has done that. I think that there's like a select handful of players that have done that have won all 15 games. Like, it's quite rare. It's quite rare. Yeah, I think Special's done it. I think it's like Max Pack, Special, and we catch a lot of Stalkers, by the way. Oh my god, Moja does catch out the army. So many Stalkers go down. Skillous versus splash damage. Storm just now finishing up, but is Storm ready in time? Again, we have such a heavy Marauder count. We can take some Storms to the face, and it should be okay. Storm does zone, but the Storms are not going to be good enough. Moja with the splits. He's pushing in. Yeah, it does collapse on the army. It looks like Moja, he can overwhelm. Ooh, takes down the Archon. Zelts do morph in. It's still close. But we're just so Marauder heavy. The Storms, they tickle back. We can keep going. Oh, that one less so. As Moja did stand in the Storm. Does rally in. Skillous getting into the mid line, taking down some of those SCVs. Prism does survive. Now juggling here. The Immortal stays alive a little bit longer. As SKillous does try desperately to break Moja's back here, to break the third. Isn't able to. SKillous has to back off, does take down the middle line, 14 SCVs go down. And SKillous takes a massive worker lead. Is on 4 bases compared to the 2 of Moja. SKillous dropping into the main. Does step into the main. Distracting Moja. Buying time. SKillous rebuilding his army. Has to rebuild the High Templar, the Immortals, the Storm. And again, it has been still quite intense. It's still quite back and forth actually. Moja still can fight back. I did notice, I think there might be some people that maybe aren't familiar with Moja. Moja, he's a German Terran. He quote-unquote debuted earlier this year at Home Story Cup, and it was very impressive. We were lucky enough to cast a lot of Moja's games. But that was like his first like step into the competitive scene. I think Moja's been around for a long time, but more of a ladder hero. He only started competing, I want to say this year, like taking things seriously. And Moja has a lot of potential as a player. Storm zones him back. Gee, it's pure Marauder, Jesus. Oh my god. Meanwhile, SKillous pushing in with purely High Templar Immortal. Storms are popping up, zoning away. The Immortals are doing what they can. Oh my god, so many storms. Immortals are falling. There's one Immortal left, a couple of Archons. And with the reinforcements, Moja, he will clean this up. And this was an expensive loss for SKillous. So many Immortals, so many High Templar, they all go down. That was not a cheap army. And Moja's is. No. Moja can soon counterattack. SKillous doing the same, building up another wave of High Templar and Immortal. I mean, SKillous still has the economic advantage, so he can afford some of these trades. But Moja has been more efficient. Oh, shout out to Eddie. Eddie letting us know. Special has the longest win streak at 21 maps. Crazy, crazy. There you go. Juanito. Shout out to Eddie for letting us know. As Moja does counterattack, SKillous down in army supply. He's relying quite heavily on these storms, but as we've noticed, as we have taken note of, because the army is so Marauder heavy, the storms are not as effective. As Moja does push towards the right-hand side. Meanwhile, Zelce collapse on the main army. They force the pickup. Moja pushing towards the third. SKillous out of position. Yeah, SKillous is being torn apart. One Immortal goes down. Storms are coming in. Zoning back the Terran. Another Immortal falls. Massive pickup. The Zealot Rambai is going to be that much more effective though. Marauders, they don't actually trade too well against Zealots. So they get into the mineral line. His main army's clashing. Nice snipe here on one of those High Templar. He gets one. He gets two. Oh my god. Let's take a lot of storms to the face. One High Templar left. Down to 0. Final Templar goes down. Moja getting forced back, but this is where the economy is kicking in. Again, SKillous is on, what, 5, soon to be 5 bases. He has doubled the probe counts, and it looks like SKillous has finally done it. I mean, Moja still has a comparable army back at home, was tied up by the Zealot Rambai. SKillous pulling back for now, consolidating his forces. As SKillous is trickling in, Moja, can he pull off the defense? Takes down the Archon. Zelce come in, and GG gets caught. It looks like Moja, he runs out of steam just barely towards the end, and SKillous, he will hold on, he will survive. Whew, it was an intense game, don't get me wrong, very intense, but SKillous will take down another opponent. GG. Whew. GG, well played. SKillous will take it. It was not easy though, it was not easy. Again, Moja, I was very impressed when he competed in Home Story Cup, and he has been impressing us more and more. Like he has a lot of potential as a player. It's just kind of weird that Moja, he's been around for a very long time, but again, he just never really felt. I think they interviewed him at Home Story Cup. They were asking him like, oh, you know, like why now and why not before? And I think it was saying that he just never really had much interest when it came to competing in tournaments. He would just have fun on the ladder and that's it. It was really cool to see Moja now actually taking it a little bit more seriously, competing more often, taking part, and yeah, didn't look too bad. Didn't look too bad at all here against SKillous. GG. GG, well played. Oh, and oh my god, the names, they just keep getting better and better. Oh my god. Wait, what time is it? So it is 2 a.m. in the morning, and I believe it's around midnight. I think it's around midnight in South Korea. And what I'm referring to is, up next, we have a Korean stepping up to the challenge. It's going to be quite another PVT up next. You know who it is. It is going to be the one-man army himself. We're running out of matches, but we have another PVT. It's going to be SKillous versus ByuN. Oh boy. Oh my god. ByuN playing here at midnight. Let's go. Is going to be the next competitor. SKillous, he's like, you couldn't have thrown him against Nightmare earlier? Like, what's going on? But now that we're nearing the end of the tournaments, now the bigger names are all being sent out here at once. And we'll see how this goes. I mean, what I will say is that I do favor ByuN in this series, but SKillous in a best of one can definitely take it to ByuN. Like, they do go back and forth, definitely. So I want to believe that SKillous still has a solid chance to bring ByuN down. We'll see. We'll see how this does unfold. Let's go. Post-patch Moja is going to crush TVP. True, true. So we have our map. As we are getting into our next game. One of the final games of the series, we have two more. We have two more matches here in OSC King of the Hill. This is match 14. 14 out of 15. And will SKillous' reign of dominance continue? Or will ByuN be our new King of the Hill? Oh boy. Here we go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Crimson Court, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. The current King of the Hill. Let's go. He's got 2 wins under his belt. Nightmare and Moja. And can he get another? Can he keep this going? Or will ByuN put his reign to an end? Oh boy. But now we're coming things down. Again, it's quite late in South Korea. So that's why I was a little bit shocked to have seen ByuN rocking up. But I know that ByuN is a bit of a degen. He does often stay up quite late to compete in these online tournaments, in these European events as well. We've even had some cases where ByuN pulls just all-nighters to compete in tournaments, where he's just dead towards the end. That has been happening quite regularly, actually, especially during the Monday Cups. But we are here for it, we are ready for it. SKillous going for the gate expands. Meanwhile, ByuN back at home going for an economic opener as well, going for a Rax into CC on the low ground. He's able to stabilize it. Here we go. Oh right, sorry. Did I not open the predictions? There we go. I do apologize, but predictions now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. My apologies. It's getting late, Bab. It's getting late. But they are now open. I got you. I got you. What does OSC mean? Oh my god, it's StarCraft. Close enough, close enough. Online Sports Championships is OSC. Again, OSC, they've been hosting tournaments for a very long time. ByuN going 3cc, by the way. 3cc 3x, this is the go-to for ByuN. He does this very often on larger maps. Maps like Golden Aura, maps like Side Delta. Very greedy build here by ByuN, rushing to that 3rd CC, and we'll see if he can get away with it. Now, the reason why ByuN is quite fond of this, if he isn't punished, if his opponent does not open up, you know, with Robo or 4-gate Blink, or just doesn't, or isn't active and doesn't punish this, and this can really snowball out of control in the mid-game. Meanwhile, SKillous is opening up Stargate. I am concerned. I am concerned for SKillous. Stargate opener should be going into Phoenix Colossus, I would imagine. I mean, it is standard play, that is true, but that isn't really a way that you can really punish the greed here of ByuN. My apologies, though. It is not Phoenix. It is Oracle. Okay. Yeah, my attention is going to be an Oracle opener. Meanwhile, ByuN is going 3cc 3 racks. The 3rd racks is on the horizon here, going MaNa. He will have plenty of anti-air to deal with this, but is he going to be in position? That is the question. Will he be in position? As the Twilight Council has been thrown down, so it's going to be Stargate into Twilight Council. This tells us that it's going to be more delayed blink or charge. Or it's likely blink. Oracle gets across the map, gets eyes on the 3rd CC. Now SKillous is aware of the greed of ByuN. We'll get 2 SCV so far. Not bad. Gets 2 SCV kills, and at least SKillous gets a full scout of what's going on. And he knows that he needs to be assertive. SKillous needs to be assertive, needs to be aggressive. Or on the flip side, be hyper greedy. Gets 4 SCV so far. Gets 4 SCV kills. Back at home, SKillous going for his 3rd. Working towards Blink. But again, it's going to take a little bit longer for his Stalkers to be active because Blink was delayed. This is delayed Blink by SKillous. Does fan out his Stalkers. Kind of catch any kind of scouts. Reaper somehow bypasses every single Stalker, gets into the main, and confirms the follow-up. Again, ByuN, now he knows there's no Phoenix production, no fast Robo into Colossus. It's going to be gateway units. Stalkers are moving out. They move out towards the natural. They of course have air. Sorry, I was gonna say air control, or they have high ground vision with the Oracle. They can try to blink into the main. Remember, there are no tanks because of the 3 racks. Because of the 3 racks follow up. But there is a bunker on the low ground, and SKillous has yet to pull the trigger. He is saturating his 3rd. Working towards some splash damage, working towards Colossus. Chipping away at the army. Does get eyes on the 3rd, but he doesn't slow it down. ByuN even punishes, gets a Stalker. It's 1 Stalker towards the end, lands his 3rd base, can get it fully saturated. SKillous trying to pick off whatever he can. Trades a Stalker for a Marine, not the best trade for SKillous. No revelation. And ByuN is now able to build up, and he will soon be able to take a... I mean, he should be able to take a supply lead in a couple of moments here. Now that he has his 3rd. Meanwhile, SKillous, he has to back off. He has to respect the army. Colossus production has begun. And ByuN has gained map control. Has gained map control. And you can see ByuN is holding onto that sim. He sims in. Oh my god. Heads towards the natural. Colossus does arrive in time. And without the Colossus SKillous, he should be able to hold on. I say that the gateways are going down. He gets both gates. Takes down another Stalker. Doesn't commit. catching another Stalker as well, another 2 Stalkers. Two more Stalkers go down. ByuN pulling back, he didn't overcommit. Just picking up a couple of units here and there, pulling back. And that was what? That was 6 Stalker kills in total. Very efficient trades here by ByuN. Storm is on the way. ByuN's still building up. Gets another Stalker. Behind this, he's got his Ghost Academy working towards Viking production as well. Now, one of the big features, of course, of Crimson Court is that this third base can be quite difficult to engage, but ByuN, he's knocking down those rocks, rotating over towards the third, or at least getting access to it. Well, SKillous takes the fourth. We'll see if ByuN allows that to happen as well. He isn't quite in position to contest against it. And both players taking their 4th bases. See, again, ByuN, his 4th base is comparable to that of the Protoss, which is never something you want to see as a Protoss player. To be even on bases. Oh, SKillous. Okay, this I like. What is the answer to this problem? The answer is Sky Toss. Fleet Beacon is on the way. So SKillous is going to take a more defensive approach. I mean, he has lost map control already, so he's stuck at home. He's going to try to turtle defend until he can reach Sky Toss. Yeah, +1 air attack is now on the way as well. We'll see if SKillous can get there. Because ByuN, I mean, he's close to maxing out. He's being active. Of course, this does mean that SKillous is skipping Disruptors. He does have Storm, does have some High Templar. Carrier production has begun. Second Stargate's on the way. Now ByuN's still building up, getting his 4th base saturated, so is SKillous. Both players are maxing out. SKillous needs more time for his Sky Toss though. ByuN sees the army, vulnerable to EMPs. There are 2 High Templar in the War Prism. Safe for now. ByuN doesn't pull the trigger. And again, SKillous, he's just turtling. He's just trying to turtle up, throwing down cannons, shield batteries. Is it really pushing past the halfway mark? Second Cyber Core's on the way. It's going to be for those Sky Toss upgrades. ByuN does spot the expansion. Does spot the center base. Where do we go from here? Yeah, he's going to be pushing in. He will force a cancel on the 5th. Zealous, they go for the planetary. Center base is denied. Actually, sorry, going for the natural even. Zealous, they go all the way to the natural, and this will buy time. This is going to keep ByuN busy, going even into the main, or at least trying to. 8-9 SCV kills. And as SKillous throws away the supply, more carriers. More carriers are amassing. So again, that was a nice distraction that dragged ByuN all the way back home, and it was only throwing away minerals, only Zealots. As SKillous getting ready for another Zealot run by. ByuN pushing through the center. Once again, I don't really see SKillous holding onto this base. Does get an okay Storm. Carriers are revealed, and now he knows about the Sky Toss. Massive EMPs on the carriers as well. And ByuN is going to engage. Does push forward. Where are the Storms? Now the Colossus are doing a lot in the back line. Zealous coming from behind. The Viking count is reset. So far, SKillous, he holds. He does hold the line. Those Colossus, they did so much in the back line against the Bio army. And SKillous, he holds onto the expansion. He saves the 5th. So far, so good. Does save the base. ByuN has to back off. He has to go into Viking production, just now getting to a 3rd starport. So his Viking production is delayed. And SKillous, he can push in. Again, ByuN, he wasn't fully ready for Sky Toss. And the Colossus, they push forward, going for the planetary. SKillous not quite able to push in, but does get the mineral line. 18 SCVs go down. And he does want the planetary. Oof, brutal storm. And the storms, they connect with the Marauders. Colossus, they shut them down as well. More carriers have arrived. And ByuN, even though he's holding, he's bleeding out SCVs. The entire time bleeding out more and more SCVs. This was a better trade for SKillous. He's got more carriers on the way. And ByuN needs time for Viking production. That's the problem here. He's only got 3. His Viking count is not what it needs to be. And SKillous, he can just rotate over towards the southern expansion. Ghost Academy's under fire. Massive pickup. And where's that storm? 1 carrier falls. Storm's coming in. Just going to be zoning. There is another storm in the chamber. Once again, SKillous, he gets into the mineral line. 11 SCVs go down. That's all that SKillous needs to do. Just poke in. EMPs do catch some of the High Templar. SKillous, once again, he retreats. He has to rebuild this High Templar. More carriers on the way. How many? He's got 8 so far. Soon to be 11 carriers. That's a lot of carriers. And he just keeps rotating. ByuN making 6 Vikings at a time. His economy not what it once was. Again, earlier, ByuN, he maxed out on mainly a bio composition. Because again, he just didn't know. He just wasn't aware what was happening. When he scanned, when he saw the carriers for the first time, that was when the fight occurred. Now SKillous, he rotates. ByuN, soon to expand. SKillous, he's in position. Doesn't quite deny though. SKillous doesn't quite spot ByuN. ByuN able to lick his wounds, rebuild, remax. How many Vikings are we on? 11. Soon to be 14 Vikings. ByuN is still in this. May have lost a little workers, but is now establishing another expansion. Nice EMP. Vikings, they poke in, they get a Colossus. Ooh, but so many Vikings go down. Yeah, there was not enough ground support. The Viking count gets reset, only 2 Vikings left. That was what, like 11 Vikings going down before the main fight occurs. Just push a little bit too far forward there. So once again, he has to rebuild his Vikings. SKillous pulling away. What I find really interesting here, I mean, it makes sense because there's no, like, Liberator, there's no proper, like, Sky Terran setup. There's no need for SKillous to embrace Tempest. If there was something a little bit more robust, if there was less supply on the ground and more supply in the air, then that's what typically forces out Tempest. But in this kind of game state, it doesn't need it. Because, again, it's mainly Marine. As carriers, they do just zone back the army. They go for the planetary. It's so close to going down. Massive storm of the Marauders. Planetary does fall. We're up to how many Vikings? 11. Back up to 11. ByuN lost the base. Trying to reestablish himself. So far, these fights have gone well for SKillous. So far, so good. And what's really keeping SKillous back here, I'm pretty sure he's just waiting for Storm. Yeah, he's just waiting for High Templar, waiting for energy. Okay, ready to push out once again. Okay, rotating around. How many carriers do I want to know? 16. Jesus. 16 carrier. Again, it's almost purely carrier. Carrier with a handful of High Templar. Ay, ay, ay. Vikings, they do commit in. Nice EMP. Once again, the Viking count completely gets reset. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, the Vikings fall instantly. And SKillous, he's just pushing in. From here, he can snowball out of control. And SKillous, he will maintain his crown. He was and still is the OSC King of the Hill. As ByuN cannot stop this. He cannot stop 16 carriers. GG gets called, and SKillous takes ByuN down. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. SKillous will take it. And with that, there's only one game left. Also, shout out to ByuN. ByuN, he did do a good job when it came to his overall opener. Winding it back a little bit, if you remember, ByuN, he opened up 3cc 3 racks, so he was able to get a fast third base up and running. He was able to max out and even get his fourth base on par with SKillous. But one of the big features of Crimson Court is how defendable it is. Bearing in mind this was ByuN's map of choice, so it goes both ways, where you are quite defendable. It's quite difficult to break a player on a 3 and 4 base setup, especially early on. So SKillous embraced that as well. SKillous, he built up towards triple Colossus, and instead of going into Disruptor, SKillous, he just rushed into Skytoss. He rushed into carrier production into Skytoss instead. ByuN was having a really hard time pushing into either the 3rd or the 4th expansion. He was rotating. He was denying the 5th base in the middle, but he couldn't really push into any other expansion, just because of how brutal those choke points are. And then with that, SKillous, he got away with Skytoss. ByuN took him a little bit too long to realize what was happening. By the time he did, he wasn't quite ready to embrace kind of a heavier Sky Terran army with the upgrades either. He was stuck on mainly Marine, mainly Ghost. GG. GG, well played. Very impressive stuff here by SKillous. And with that, SKillous, he will take it in the end. And we have one more match left. Who's it going to be? I believe it's one left, right? Let me double check. I don't want to. Yeah, one more left. One more best of one remaining. Here we go. Right, who haven't we seen yet? Yo, we haven't seen Spirit. Yo, be out there. Haven't seen Spirit yet tonight. Who else? Who else? If Max Packs is available, maybe. Some of the other Polish Protoss players. Art, Geralt. We could see the return of MaNa. That'd be wild. MaNa coming back as the final boss. That'd be a lot of fun. Who is it? Here we go. Oh, okay, we are heading over to the European region. Also, shout out to Eddie, he was letting us know the Hall of Fame for King of the Hill. As was stated before, Special has the highest with 21 wins. And yes, I do see here, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 players in total that have ever had a 15 game at most, or at least win streak. Special with 21. Max Packs with 18, Spirit with 18, Euthermal with 16, Wayne, ByuN, Kellizer, and Solar. So there's a select few 8 players in the history, in the many years of OSC King of the Hill. Only they have gone for 15 plus wins in a row. Oh boy. SKillous hasn't gotten there yet, but I'm sure eventually he'll get there. His longest win streak was 8, apparently. 8 wins. Meanwhile, we are heading over to the European region, and we have 1 series remaining here. And then I have to hunt down that spider. Then ah. Un momento. There we go. Okay, it is going to be a best of 1 between SKillous and Mixu. Mixu, of course, he is another one of those players that we haven't yet seen today. We haven't seen much Zerg players. I mean, we had, I guess, a surge of Zerg at the start of the evening. We had Wayne, we had Hatsu, we had GgMaChine as well, Demi, and now Mixu has arrived. Ooh. And we'll see how he compares to SKillous. We shall see. So I believe they are setting up and getting things ready. Oh, let's go, as we are going to be embracing one of the older maps in the map pool. We're going to be loading into Cosmic Sapphire. Let's go. What about me? What about you? Eva. Ay, ay, ay. Oh my god. Why didn't you sign up earlier, Eva? Shaking my head, shaking my head. Why weren't you a part of Sparkling Tuna Cup? Oh my god. Just had to wake up too late. Didn't mention me in the Zerg. Did you play today? Did you? I don't remember you actually. Kappa. True, Eba he did play. Honestly, Eba, he had a really good series against Nightmare. Really good series. Joking, Pappy, I'm joking. Really good series. Or game even. Eba. I was awake at 7 AM. Then why weren't you a part of the tournament? Eba. Shaking my head. For those that are curious, daylight savings is a thing that I think occurred recently in Europe. So unfortunately did affect some signups and did affect some players when it comes to when tournaments did begin. But here we go, we're getting into our final game of the night, and sporting in the bottom right hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the Finnish Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the current King of the Hill. We have the red Protoss player for Team Liquid. It is SKillous. I need to double check. Who is currently on a four-game win streak. Let's go. Can he make it an even 5? Will SKillous be the reigning King of the Hill? Now, for those that are curious, here in this final best of 1, the final King of the Hill, the player that is left standing on top of that hill, on top of that mountain, will be invited to next week's tournament to start the event as the King of the Hill. So, could be Mixu, could be SKillous. They're invited. If they're otherwise unavailable, then of course it can go to another player instead. But they will have the opportunity to start the tournament off to continue that win streak. We'll have that opportunity. And we'll see who it goes to. Here we go. As for now, we're settling in. Once again, we're loading into a much older map as well. For those that are curious, Cosmic Sapphire was around back in, what, 2022? Like 2 years ago, I think. 2 or 3 years ago, was in the ladder map pool. It's been a very, very long time. It is a very large map, so it makes sense that Mixu would want to embrace Cosmic Sapphire as well. Very wide open in the center of the map as well, especially once you knock down some of these rocks, you can gain access and you can try to set up some surrounds and set up some better engagements from the side of Zerg. Likewise, because of its layout, because how large it is, we have seen a lot of late game on Cosmic Sapphire as well. It was in a different era, but late game Sky Toss in PvZ definitely was seen quite often on this map. Very, very often. Oh no. The trauma. But yeah, since then the game has changed, the game has adapted over time. And now here we go. Is this on the PTR? It is not. Not on the PTR. On the current game. We go. We do have our initial opener here for SKillous. Is going for a Stargate opener into Oracle, most likely. It's okay. Also, Eva, I hope you did well at Epic Land as well. I was looking at the bracket. I wasn't able to watch your games, but I did notice that you weren't able to face up against Geralt. I was like, all the practice, all the setup. He avoided you, back. Ah. But regardless, I hope you had a good time. Hope you had a good time with everyone. Whenever there's an epic land. It's really cool to see that Raza showed up again as well. The Papi himself. As it ups a shade in towards the natural, 3 drones go down. So far, so good. Meanwhile, the Oracle has since arrived. Queens are keeping up. Keep up with the Oracle. No sport in the main. Ooh, and drones are going to go down. Getting up to 4, 5, 6, 7 drone kills. Oh my god. 7 workers falling. At the same time, Mixu does threaten the third base, but only with a handful of lings. It will be getting up and running. And SKillous, he's not done. He is not done. We have a second Oracle moving out. Does hit the third. Not by catching too many workers, though. Forcing out a cast, forcing out a spore. Oh, I guess 1 drone towards the end. But the Oracle does stick around a little bit too long. SKillous getting greedy. Yeah, a little bit too greedy there. Wasn't worth it. 2 drone kills for an Oracle. A better trade for Mixu. Does defend. Does manage to defend. The Oracle dips back in. Gets another 4 drones. It's been how many workers in total? 11. 11 drones in total have gone down. And we're not... Oh my god. Okay, we do shut down the final Oracle. Is forced back at home. SKillous transitioning. We do have Blink on the way. A bit of a later forge for SKillous. I'm curious if he intends to throw down extra gateways and set up a proxy and go for something like an 8-gate 3-base all-in. Stalkers are moving out. Likewise, SKillous going for his own aggression. My apologies. Sorry, Mixu going for his own aggression. As he's massing lings, moving out with Ravagers, and the Queens are walking across the map as well. Mixu, he's going all in. He's lost too many drones. He's not making any more here at the third. It's all or nothing. One way or another, the game is about to end. Now, unfortunately, because Blink is being resourced so quickly here, it will finish up in time for the all-in. SKillous will have Blink, which is going to be the ideal. Lings, they collapse in. Shield batteries on the way. So far, SKillous, he is holding on. The Vials, they do connect, but the shield battery does survive. Will be focused down, no overcharge. And despite having Blink, it might not matter. It might still be too much. As Mixu, he is trickling in with a handful of lings. Vials, they connect, they take down more Stalkers. There's what, 5 Stalkers left? Yeah, more reinforcements on the way. Vials, they connect to the Warping and Stalker. More Stalkers falling, and it looks like Mixu, he might just barely break the third. But he needs more than that. He needs more than just a third base. Another warp in. Gets another Stalker. 11 probe kills. It's just 2 Ravagers remaining. And SKillous, he might be able to save it. Yeah, 1 Ravager left. And Mixu, he's running out of steam. Oh, it's so close. It looks like he will. The Nexus. A couple more hits. Nexus almost goes down. And it looks like it will. At the cost of the Queens and a lot of Ravagers. And the scary thing here is that SKillous, he actually has a higher worker count. He's got 50 probes to the 44 of Mixu. He's able to rebuild his third base. Mixu, sure, he kills the third base, but he doesn't do more than that. As he bleeds out a lot of roaches. And Mixu wasn't really ready for a longer game state. Lair just now finishing up. Evo Chamber as well for +1. Lings, they do bust into the natural though. Head towards the main. Lings, they break in. Probes are going down. Very nicely done. At the same time, SKillous, he doesn't care. SKillous, he's pushing out instead. Going for the third base, and do we have much of an army? Oh, 3 roaches. Only 3 roaches to defend. Mixu has been caught with his pants down. Doesn't really have much of an army to work with. Mineral line is exposed. Boys are being pulled. Drones are going down. We're getting scrappy. There was 6 probe kills across the map, but SKillous can keep going. And SKillous might just have too much. Picks off the roaches, catches the Queens. More drones are going down. The Spore Crawler trying to reposition, but yeah, SKillous, he smells blood in the water. He goes for the kill, dives on the army. Again, Mixu was all in earlier. He had to kill his opponents, and he wasn't quite able to. He killed the third, but Again, was hoping for more. Trickling with more roaches, with more lings. I mean, SKillous' reinforcements are delayed, but it's still enough. Oh, God. It's still too much, papi. Takes out the final queen, the final roaches. GG gets called, and SKillous will be the final OSC King of the Hill of weekly number 189. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to SKillous, as he will be the final king. That was the final best of one of the night. Mixu embracing the all-in, especially after losing all those drones, does make sense. Unfortunately, again, SKillous, he went for a very safe opener, going for faster Twilight Council into Blink, delayed Forge, delayed +1. And with that, it was still a shaky defense. I will admit that. It was still a very shaky defense for SKillous. He was still bleeding out a lot of Stalkers, but last, it was still good enough. Good enough for the Protoss. GG, well played. Congratulations. SKillous will take it. But a shout out to Mixu for, of course, competing here tonight, for being the final player, and for showcasing Cosmic Sapphire once again after a long time, after a long hiatus. GG, well played. Oh, again, a very intense tournament, and we can take this moment to go over the bracket itself. Oh my God, again, it was a very intense tournament with its own storylines as well. I do need a moment to set things up though. Un momento. Do I have you? Here we go. There we go. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves. We do have a Wikipedia page for OSC King of the Hill. From the top, game 1 we missed out. We missed out on game 1, but it started off with Demi versus 4Jumi. Demi takes down 4Jumi 1-0. Oh, I should also get rid of the frame. There we go. Demi takes down 4Jumi 1-0. Demi was our first King of the Hill, and if you remember, if you were here for it, I recommend MaNa versus Demi. It was a very intense PvZ. Could have gone either way. If you remember, Demi, he went mass muta. He had what, like a 40-50 supply lead. He was wreaking havoc, killing probes, but MaNa did persevere, going Archon, Storm, Phoenix, and did eventually break out, did eventually fight back from behind. And MaNa, he started his own win streak. He took down Demi, took down Wayne, took down Hatsu, took down Shameless towards the end in a very close PvP as well, where MaNa was forced into an all-in. Shameless was otherwise ahead, but was caught with his pants down. And then MaNa had to bow out. MaNa, something came up and he wasn't able to continue to compete, so MaNa did end up stepping back, and we had a fresh new set of players. And this was the era of Nightmare. Nightmare, he did start, this is what the reign of Nightmare. The Nightmare began, and he went on a crazy win streak himself, getting GgMaChine, or bringing down GgMaChine, Nicoract, BabyMarine, Krystianer, Iba as well. This was potentially the highlight of the night, actually. A very, very long late game ZVP, very intense, very back and forth. Iba had his own moments, Nightmare as well. It was on 2000 atmospheres, a much older map, which brought back some more nostalgia as well. Did go the way of Nightmare in the end, and his reign continued a little bit longer until SKillous rose up. SKillous, who was able to bring Nightmare down with a 1-base all-in, and then was able to take down many other players here, Moja, ByuN, and of course Mixu at the end of the night as well. Oh boy, so a very Protoss dominant night. SKillous, Nightmare, MaNa, at least Demi, we had one Zerg win at the start. just the one. But very Protoss dominated here, and again, congratulations to SKillous, to Nightmare, to MaNa, and to Demi for all earning some prize money tonight. GG, well played, very well done. Very solid performances here. I do recommend the VODs. A lot of these games were quite clutch and quite close, and there was a lot of spiciness going on as well, so I do recommend. Otherwise, thanks so much. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Thanks so much for supporting. If you want to help support OSC even further, you can do so via Indiegogo. If you're curious, OSC, they have been hosting events for many years. I mean, as you can imagine, this is the 189th edition of this tournament, and there is going to be an end of year finals in January. So I did post a link in the chat to the Indiegogo, but yes, OSC, they have been hosting basically OSC, they do partner with online events, and the OSC Championships is kind of like the equivalent to IM Katowice, but for online events, for online tournaments, for the online tournament scene. So they do have their own championships, they have their own trophies that they send out as well, and yeah, it's been It's been quite a run here for OSC. Let me just quickly show it on screen, actually. I got you. We have the technology. Bam, there we go. So you can actually see the previous champions as well. We had Pig, the 2013 champion, Gumiho, Solar, ByuN, Neeb, Solar once again, Cure. We had Clem, that's a very different Clem, by the way. That was back in 2020. Zest, that was, of course, before he went to the military. MaxPax, looking very dashing in that portrait, of course. MaxPax was the 2022 champion, followed by Dark in 2023. And 2024 yet to be determined. So again, we have our Hall of Fame here when it comes to previous champions for the OSC end of year annual championship. And again, the 2024 championship is going to be taking place in January, so a couple of months away. And there is an Indiegogo if you want to help support the event. The event will take place regardless, don't you worry, the event will still take place, but this is just a way to support the event itself, to help grow the prize pool, and to help out OSC when it comes to organizing, when it comes to funding, when it comes to hosting it as well. There are, of course, some other perks available that you can, of course, look into. So again, consider checking out the Indiegogo if you wish. Otherwise, watching the event is all that we ask. We might cast some of it. Usually the championship is quite a long event, and it is traditionally hosted by Wardy. Usually Wardy does host it, but whenever Wardy isn't available, you know, that's where some of the other OSC casters come in. Casters like ourselves, Chicken Man, Dave Testa, and many others. And many other casters usually get involved when it comes to bringing you the end of year championship. So it is usually a community effort for that end of year championship. So yeah, best of luck to the players that do get seeded into that final event at the end of the year. Otherwise, yeah, with that, we're done. We are wrapping up here tonight. Again, it was a long cast, it was a long tournament. 7 hours. Jesus, I just realized. 7-hour cast. Good to be back. It's good to be back. We haven't really had a cast this long for like the past month, just because it's been the off season of EPT. So we've been taking a more lax kind of route here. We've been having some days off, you know, getting some sleep, spending time playing other games during the off season. But the off season, it's coming to an end soon. You know, the new patch was announced, the new map pool was announced. Around mid-November should be the new season, potentially new patch going live as well, you know, mid to late November. And with the new patch, I would imagine new season of EPT. I would imagine that would all come together at once, and that would all coincide. That is just speculation from my part, but it would make the most sense, right? It would make the most sense if the new season, the new patch, the new map pool all came with the new EPT, right? So that's at least how what would make sense in my mind. ESL, you know, if you want things to make sense, then there you go. If you want to come back then and there. When it comes to what the new season of EPT looks like, we still do not know. Still in the dark. We don't even know if the weeklies will come back. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. You know, what events are part of the circuit. There is a DreamHack Stockholm, I believe, in December, right? If I'm not mistaken. I think there is a DreamHack before IEM Katowice, and I think it's around in Stockholm. And we were theorizing that potentially that might be like a returning event before IEM. Otherwise, IEM Katowice would be the next big StarCraft event. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what gets announced. I mean, the closer we get to December, the closer we get to DreamHack Stockholm without an announcement, the less likely it's going to be that there's going to be StarCraft there. But we'll see. We shall see. Oh. Jest is best. He was best. He was. True. But with that, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to help support the CranKy Ducklings, you can do so via social media. You can follow us. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings. You can see the post in the chat. We do post whenever we go live. We do announce whenever we go live. Also, now that we have more people coming in, I hope you all enjoyed today, because today was a very special day. I mean, now it's ticked over to the 28th, but the 27th of October, today was our 7-year anniversary. 7 years of CranKy Ducklings. God, today was our 7-year anniversary. It was 7 years ago on the 27th of October where we held our first cast, our first tournament cast here on this channel, which was Sea Duckling Open #1. Sea Duckling Open #1, so 7 years of CranKy Ducklings. God, it's been a wild ride. You know, we grew from just casting amateur events and diamond tournaments to masters to regional events to what we do now as well. Once we went full-time during the COVID era of StarCraft during 2020, that's when we started casting full-time every day. And yeah, it's been wild. I can't believe it's been 7. That sounds so crazy. 7 years of StarCraft. Jesus. And again, we did kind of join late as well. Like 7 years ago was still Legacy of the Void. So I mean, I was a very active member of the community back in Heart of the Swarm as well, watching a little StarCraft. But yeah, we've been only casting for 7 years. 7 bits. Oh, thank you, Chunky. Thank you for the bits. We appreciate it. But yeah, here's to another 7 more, right? Here's to another 7 more years. So shout out to those that have been a part of us, or been a part of the CranKy Ducklings, you know, whether you were here since the beginning or if you joined throughout the journey of the CranKy Ducklings as well. Hope you've been enjoying yourselves, hope you've been having a good time, and hope you continue to enjoy yourselves as well as we continue casting StarCraft. Let's go, Papi, let's go. Our next cast is going to be tomorrow. Oh, I have a little sleep to do. Our next cast is going to be tomorrow in less than 24 hours. We're going to be casting the Wardy TV Monday #8. So Wardy TV Monday is going to be in less than 24 hours. We're going to be casting that here on the channel. The day after that is going to be the Pigosaur Monday. We have the Pond cast on Thursday as well. So plenty more content throughout the week. We currently have Wednesday and Friday off. So currently Wednesday and Friday we don't have any cast. But we might sporadically, you know, have something anyway. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. Also, oh my god, Jesus. All of our birthdays are coming up as well. My birthday's on tomorrow, technically. 29th of October, tomorrow. Aye. We're going to be casting on my birthday. Let's go. Let's go. Do I have anything planned? Not at all. I'll probably stream. I'll probably do like a birthday stream or something. I'll smudge on the ladder and maybe I'll play another game. True. Like, I can only ladder for so long, right? Like, laddering takes so much energy, like so much like mental power from me. Like, I envy people that can ladder like 4, 5, 6, 7 hours straight. Like, I can't do it, mate. I can't. No shot. So I might stream something else tomorrow. We'll see. We shall see. We'll have some fun. Spider? Yeah, I have to deal with the spider as well. The spider is... I don't know where it is. I'll be honest. After it got knocked down to the floor, I could feel it, like, scuttle over my foot. So, yeah, I have to do that as well. Yeah. I have to look for the spider. Jesus. Oh, my God. I'll keep you guys updated with what happens. Otherwise, just catching up. And there goes the long game of Light replacing Kalaris. Oh no. I'm not gonna cast the Kalaris steadfast copy if that's what you're referring to. No shot. TVZ at lights out. Oh no. I'll yeah. I'm pretty sure I know the direction that it's in. I'm pretty sure it's like under the desk, potentially within like the wires of like the PC or like behind the monitor. Okay, if you don't hear from me tomorrow, you know that the spider got me. You know that it's over, Papi. It's over. But yeah, with that, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Again, our next class is tomorrow for the Wardy TV Monday, and yeah, 7 years, 7 more years, Papi. 7 more years of CranKy Duckling. Shout out to Yaku, shout out to Steel Molds, Kuro, Alex, Quirky, Milk and Cookies, Yoda Slim, Asher Bro, so many different CranKy Duckling members throughout the years, jumping on, casting, Chase, NXZ, Neo. Been a long time. A lot of years, man. A lot of years. Okay, with that, we'll see you guys next time. We'll raid someone who's live at the moment. Who can we stream? Sorry, who can we raid? Who can we raid? I think Gabe is streaming, right? Monsieur Hero Marine. Gabe is live. Who else? Rotterdam is live. Ryung is live. Usually we like to raid smaller streamers to give them a little bit more support. To give them a chance. Give them some love. Heaven SC. Maybe we can raid Heaven. I know Heaven's been very active on Reddit recently, posting about the patch and the balance and all that stuff. Could give it to Old Mate Heaven. Alright, we'll find someone. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow for ODTV Monday, or the day after for the Pigosaur Cup as well. See you guys tomorrow. Until then, hasta luego, ciao, papi, ciao, hasta luego.